Here we go now. 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 Here we go now.
Are you keeping it real? I'm calling shotgun, wanna see my baby run. Oh, what's the word on the sea? We're kicking up the dust, if you know what I mean. We got a good thing going. We got a good thing going on.
Make it clap.
Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to PUBG Mobile Club Open Fall Split 2021 Pakistan region, sponsored by Oppo F19 Pro. Hook up your phone, and a huge shout out to our official media partner, Nevo TV. My name is Phoenix Shivan. Alongside me, it's my co-caster as well as co-analyst, Ankit.
I mean, always great to be back with you on desk. And yes, today is the last day where Group B and D will be locking their horns up, and we have seen some real ripper of games. We talk about the ANC that really got head-to-head in yesterday gameplay, and today it is going to be the final day. I mean, the day 6 where B and D will be finding themselves up, and in that doing so, will be having a really good time.
Yep, they will be having a really good time, and that is the most important part. But let's take a look at the tournament explanation, and we get to know why this is so much important. When we started our semi-finals, we had 32 teams. Every single team just divided into 4 groups. This is the day 6, and Group B and D are playing today. And if we talk about only in finals, there are only 16 teams will compete against each other. Why these teams are fighting against each other for this massive prize pool, $29,200 on the line. If you're going to finish at the first place, you get $3,600 as well as the ticket for PMPL Season 4.
Exactly, that squad, I mean, that qualified for PMPL Season. Obviously, that is going to be the one big stake for which the teams are looking for, but that is going to be the definite point system, the point structure, pretty much the same. We get to see the first team getting the 15 total points, second 12, and keeps decreasing, and 13 to 16 gets none. 1 kill points equal to 1 point. Pretty much the same, need not to talk more about it, but one thing I will really want to step up about that is going to be obviously some teams really do rely upon those placement points, and some on kill points, and some really do balance upon them, and in doing so, they really have a good point structure. And some teams, we're talking about teams we have from Group B, it is going to be Max D, it is going to be Freestyle, ZARAR Esports Team 138. I mean, Freestyles, this is one big team that we need to talk about, because Black, if you remember in that game, man, he has that potential to survive till the last. Even he didn't get the accommodation of his rest of teammates, but the assistance that he brought in this match, that was just so phenomenal.
That was certainly so phenomenal. But let's take a look at the squad roster of Group D. We have UAG Tough, that team who's just played only 8 matches, but still have a good hold in the overall ranking on the first page of the leaderboard. We have Execute, Team Frost, 1920 Sports. They got DQ'd from the tournament as well as 4 Viper. But let's talk about the teams like who are going to play their other 4 matches. This is way more important, Ankit, because only 14 teams will move forward in the finals. But let's talk about the schedule for the day. First match is going to be Erangel, then Miramar, then the Western, as well as we can talk about the Grassland, Sanhok, and then the second Erangel for the day.
Yeah, pretty much the same as we just talked about it. Erangel starts the day off, and Erangel ends the day off. And certain teams do really love to have their hands upon the Erangel. Talk about teams, talk about the maps. All in all, a great competition ahead. If you just talk about that in yesterday's gameplay, it was obviously certain team that was really looking good. Talk about 52 Rage. I mean, this was a team from yesterday's gameplay from the sides of Group A and C that really dominated right off the go. They started the day well with that chicken, obviously on the Erangel, and they ended the day with Erangel with a chicken. And certain teams obviously will be eyeing their set upon for these Erangels and Miramars and this and so on and so forth. But talking about some more thing, we are heading towards the overall ranking where we are just talking about 52 Rage. They are there on the top. Now the question remains, UAG Tough. That's not even a question. It's a straight right of the go. I mean, this team is going to be overpassing. I mean, just the total of 16-point lead is with which Rage Esports is sitting. The 16-point deficit, I mean, UAG Tough is pretty much has the caliber to actually do so.
Yeah, they certainly have that caliber to do so. But look at that. The second page of the leaderboard, this is going to be the most important overall ranking. Why? Because only top 14 teams will continue their journey to the finals. And at that position, finals, Team F4 and I8 will join these teams. Now look at that. Freestyle on the 14th position with 71 points. F2D on the 13th with 71 points. But Quraysh Esports, they played the 12 matches. They have only 77. The chances are pretty much high that they will falter down, but let's hope for the best crown holders on the 17. Look at that. Team Apex, this is the only team who played their 12 matches, but still on the 3rd page of the overall ranking. So curtains are already down for this team, and they will enjoy that consolation prize, $300.
Yeah, pretty much the same as you perfectly mentioned. $300 is that every team will be getting, those who are getting eliminated. But so a lot of things, not only does the $300, but the experience. I mean, this is one big thing that the team will be taking away, and the confidence to play in this level. And not only the confidence, the kill number along with the placement point that is well distributed. Talk about COBx and Team 2EZ4. I mean, COBx are done with all the games, but 2EZ4 is the one team that will having their good times ahead.
But let's talk about this head-to-head Freestyle versus Crown Holders, the team who's on the 14th position of the leaderboard, as well as the team who's on the 17th position in the leaderboard. Crown Holders versus Freestyle. If we talk about Freestyle, we talk about the total points: 71 in the favor of Freestyle, 62 in Crown Holders. Both the teams secured one chicken dinner, but let's talk about the team to watch out, and that is going to be the team who is on the top. TUF, look at that. Thor, as well as Edgar. Edgar secured 28 kills. Ankit, this massive. That is massive.
3.5 kpm. This is really a bonker start to the tournament. And talk about the damage, talk about the kill per match everywhere down the line. This guy is looking gobsmackingly well in terms of what they are securing. And not only that, we need to talk about the average survival time. That is the highest among all the four players. Talk about Virus, talk about Thor, talk about FPSU. All the three fours were just being dominant enough with the way the players were just looking for the moment. I mean, today is going to be the day where just perfectly mentioned some teams might miss up the mark, because obviously the team that we got to see head on head, I mean, Freestyles were really looking good in terms of those skill points that they did secure.
Yeah.
And this is one good thing that can go into the favor of any team. At the end of the day, it is going to be the last 4 matches for B&D, because already Group A and C are done with all their 12 matches. Rest 4 for B&D will be played today in form of Erangel, Miramar, Sanhok and Erangel, and then we'll get to see which are the top 14 teams that will be aggressive, because we have already mentioned in these streams that 2 teams have been invited. That means the 14 teams will be getting to. So in this stat, in these things, certain teams will be missing the mark.
Certain teams will be missing the mark, and that is going to be the saddest part for them. But let's hope for the best. Every single team just always look out for those positive stuff. But the important part is Crown Holders on the 13th page, 17th position. They still have chance. 4 matches, 4 golden opportunities. They have to give their best. They have to play their best PUBG Mobile today. If you basically want to qualify for the finals, and if you are looking out for that PMPL Season 4 ticket, but our Game 1 is ready, and that is going to be the Erangel match. And let's take a look at the plane path, Ankit, and it starts from the western side of Hospital.
Exactly. I mean, Hospital is the starting point of the flight path, and downtown we head towards the area of Milta Power where the flight ends, and the complete dissection is what we are getting to see, and some patchwork is also being done in order to get things started off. I mean, some real adjustment with all the teams and all the players, and also for us here in order to get things started for.
Yeah.
I mean, apart from those extreme cities, just to think about Kamishki and Stolaber, rest of the player will jump down, but certain team loves to go towards the area of military base, and that seems unglidable, because they really need to take care of all those vehicles that is spawned around those NHS and all. But for the moment, it is the teams that is Team 38 that is slowly and steadily moving towards their favorite drop location, and obviously that is going to be the Northern Georgia Pool, and with slowly and steadiness the players are jumping in. It's going to be Max D that will be finding their safe haven into the area of Pichinki with no other contestation whatsoever, with UNB also making their head forward. The flight path is looking pretty decent for each and everyone for the moment.
Yep, the flight path is looking pretty decent for some of the teams, but the zone, it is going to be the most important thing. But now, look at that. Freestyle again opting for the same split out drop location. Every single player just going to move towards the southern side of Katka. They're going to loot those individual compartments. Now, UAG, you have to look out for this team, because tough. They are on the first page of the leaderboard, and look at this, Ankit. First game of Erangel, Northern Shift. Every single team, almost every single team inside the circle except ZARAR, Freestyle, Tough, EH, and even the team of... Okay, so F2D, only Evil. He is just moving towards the Lipovka area now. If we talk about Yasnaya Poliana, Too Easy is there. Solo is there. Now this is going to be important for these teams to survive, and another team just wants to join this fray, and that is going to be the players of Too Easy, Solo, as well as Frost. Team Frost. 3 teams. Yasnaya. Big city, big loot, big chances of survival, but big kills as well. Big money. Let's go. Just going to win this. Tifa on the other side, moving towards those apartments. You will find those very, very good loot inside those huge, massive, humongous buildings.
I mean, higher the risk, higher the reward. That is the case, and that is going to be the one thing that we will have their eye set upon. With 3 teams in this big city, it is a challenge for them to survive, and it seems that since Frost is onto the backhand side, they are in a split situation. 3 players can already spot it down with Solo Esports in pretty much closer vicinity where the exact positions of Team Too Easy is there. But for the moment, it seems that truce is settled, but for how long? Which is going to be the first team that it will erupt out of explosion and try to bring them down as soon as we get to head towards to see that. It's still the early stage of the game, I guess. When they get loot, they get acclimatized with all the loots and try to share everything around them with all the players, then they might go for those fighting approach. But still, I guess the fight is still far-fetched approach. I mean, that's still pretty much less, because in the past we have seen, I mean, apart from this region, talk about some other ones, we have seen that even if 2 or 3 teams do love to go towards the area of Chasnaya Polyana, and the compound split eventually allows them to still survive without taking the fight. But yesterday's gameplay, to be honest, that was just off to a start. It was an explosion, and following that same trail, same path, if the omen remains the same, it is going to be one thing that the teams can be fighting themselves their meter out, with the players now just slowly and steadily heating up the ecosystem. It seems that fight is preempted, but I'm still susceptible about it.
Let's see when these teams gonna engage in some fight spot. He has an M762 as well as an Uzi. Find a level 1 loadout. That's a good thing. Found that one level 1 loadout, and that's amazing. 13 teams in the lobby. Kind of a slow start till now, because we just hit the 4-minute mark. After 19, the zone will close in. The first zone will start closing in. Now look at this. What are your thoughts about this zone? What do you think where the final circle is gonna form?
I mean, it's pretty much tough to actually predict and have the probability set upon, have your bet set upon which sort of circles would go. But I really love to see the second shift, and then we might get to decide, because eventually, if you are being the one of the wisest one to have the circle prediction, one hard shift can actually throw the bet around you. But since you have asked it, I mean, these sort of circle tends to go towards either on the area of Rozhok onto the western side, or maybe on the southern side of Chasnaya Polyana. But this is just again a guess. I mean, just because you asked it, I mean, I just guessed it. But for the moment, it is the team Flex that is going to be of IVY Esports that are on a run closer, slowly and steadily. They are moving towards the area where Team 138 are positioned for the moment. With them finding themselves in the closer proximity, there is going to be a challenge for teams like FS. Now, this one FS. Talk about this team. This is one team that is really finding themselves on that precarious position where they might face the brunt of elimination. But since the point difference between them and the team above them is not so much, there's still a good chance. I mean, just one good game can eventually put them under the commanding position.
You know what? They just have to showcase that consistent amount of performance, and that's it. Just secure 8 points from each match, then you are safe until unless any team can do like if they manage to secure 2 chicken dinners in a row, if I'm talking about the team who are present on the 3rd page of the leaderboard, if they can able to do that, then it's going to be a point of concern for you. Otherwise, you are doing pretty decent. You are on the 14th now. Look at that. Team Frost already have that one vehicle. Looking out for some more loot. And if we talk about loot, now Brown, he has a level 2 loadout with the M416 suppressed. Basically, he has just one suppressor attached onto his M416 policies there. Now 52 players still there. But if I'm gonna predict where the circle is just gonna form, Ankit, I think so. It's just gonna form towards the eastern side, southeastern side of Siverny. Let's see.
Okay, if this is going to be the case, we'll have to see about it. But for the moment, it is going to be a stalemate situation that's still erupting in the area of Chasnaya Polyana, with the player just trying to spot down. I mean, Team Too Easy 4. The team really knows that there is someone around their closer vicinity, and just because of that, the player are in the prone position, just trying to spot down the players. With obviously all the 4 players in the same vicinity, it is going to be Fix that is trying to Mr. Fix is trying to fix the situation. Klaus was spotted in the open directions, and it seemed that Klaus is unaware of the exact position of Team Too Easy 4 onto different tangent. It is going to be some different teams. That is going to be Solo Esports that is holding the backhand side. That means for a moment, if Team Frost doesn't make a move at this point, there may be a case that percentage is there, but that looks so bleak that they might be sandwiched between both the teams, and that is going to be Team Too Easy 4. And from the backhand side, it may be Solo Esports, but The question is that now Team 2EZ4 are being challenged upon. But before this fight actually happened, it is going to be UAG Tough that has taken this fight into its own way, and that is erupting onto different direction. But for the moment, since we are getting a lot of visuals from Yasana Poliana, the fight is still on. The player has been spotted down, but it seemed that now Team 2EZ4 is just unwilling to take the fight. He could have taken the fight, but just because he was not having assistance of any other player in the same compound, he rather decided to jump out of that window and just take some different strides, thus leaving Solo Esports again in that compound alone. But talking about the fight, we are going to see UAG versus, obviously, it is going to be of crown holders, the team that are on the third half of the chart at the 17th position, if I'm not wrong. They are giving a tough challenge, but in giving so, the players are faltering down. 1-1 fight, Edgar, I mean, he justifies why he is there at the top.
Yep, they are falling down like the autumn leaves, and this is not good for them. Look at that, Spoo. He secured the first blood off the game. Crown holder's not looking good, but Cruel, he was looking so good, but at the end, Crown Holders takes an exit at the 13 without securing a single point. That's not good, but look at that. Flex already present in the same vicinity, and they just want to do something different. IV Esports policies there, but now what they're going to do is they're going to create a lot of difficult situation for UAG. Now, Tough secured 4 kills, looking so good. The revival already being initiated. Abdul just wants to find an opening, firing some random bullets. So Dr. Face is doing the same thing, bursting down those tires of those Dacia. But look at that, the circle's going to take a shift. Come on, towards the south. Oh, north. Okay, now it's amazing. Yes, now it's amazing.
North is where the circle has actually shifted, and it seems that the PUBG god is just averting to listen to the Shivansh's direction, and it's that where we get to see the first airdrop with MG3. Eventually, that's a very brilliant gun to have your hands upon. 660, 990 rounds per minute, and adding to that, there is the bipod that gets attached to it when you try to spray down the bullets. I mean, this is one go-to gun if you are trying to take the fight. Since now M249 is readily available, and just that I mean, that's respawn eventually and has been taken away from the exclusivity. It's now the exclusiveness this MG3, this light machine gun brings in. But with the circle shift, as we just got to see, where the players are now marching in towards the circle with a big ruckus has been created and a straight congestion. There is a lot of traffic on the southern side and obviously on the center lines, but complete is barren is what being the city of Severny. And I guess teams must be eyeing upon to that same city, and there is a lot of compound, but the space is not too much. If you talk about holding the shooting range, that can also be one good idea.
Yep, that's sure going to be a good idea. But look at that, the players from the side of F2D move from the south, from the northeastern side of the map. Now, this is going to be an important decision. Why? Because now they have the control of the Stalber. We all know it is so good. The high altitude is going to help you a lot, but too easy for have a good control of these two compounds, and they are pretty close to one another. Team, we can see the same thing in this in the mini map, and it is going to be Ivy if I'm not wrong. But we're going to wait. Okay, it's 138, and they have a good control of this barn house now. They have to make sure that they will remain alive until and unless the zone gonna take a hard shift. ZARAR also in the same vicinity. 3 teams so close to each other, yet so far.
You remember 2EZ4 in the city of Sasnaya, and as soon as the circle go on for the shift, now they are finding themselves into the city around the area of Severny, where they are finding themselves in the fortified areas and just trying to pin down the players of Team 38. With the Shamir getting a lot of blows onto his body, it seems that now they know that there is one big team on the backhand side that need to be taken care of, and in doing so, it is going to be Team 2EZ4 that will also won't be doing any sort of rookie mistakes in just finding themselves in the open position. All the 4 players are aligned. But apart from that one big elimination of crown holders, each and everyone is just sitting in their fortified areas. Everyone knows the enemy's exact positioning, but they are just averting and not interested in trying to take the fight in the early stage of the game. With Team 38 in a closer proximity, where the ZARAR Esports are actually present there, where Team EZ4 is actually present there, it is going to be a tough task for Team 38. Just imagine if a slam comes into this warehouse, just the 2 exit that can eventually become the 2 entry for 2 teams, and if that happens, that is going to be one good thing.
For sure. And you know what? That is going to be amazing to witness. Now, as just mentioned, that is going to be the tough task for them. When what if the tough gonna just march in towards him, then it's just gonna rhyme for sure. But now, Team 138 Drona, look at that. He has a control of this watchtower. Now looking out for some players, and that is Vaz. He knows his position, and he's looking out for him. Now we have the airdrop 3, the luxurious weapon, AUG A3. Second airdrop.
Yeah. With sniper suppressor in it, I mean, that's a really good handy one to have. And in circle shift to central one, I mean, the team that is into Central Lines, they are in a good position for the moment, but the question still remains, will they be enough, or do they have enough of gunpowder if they are being charged upon by multiple teams with Solo Esports making a rotation from the southern side? It is going to be a challenging thing, because as soon as they make an entry, it is going to be team like, obviously it is going to be Execute, that is in the closer proximity where they are finding themselves. It is also going to be UAG, but before that they might be encountering the team like Max D and the ZARAR with the rotation coming in from the western side. F2D have made an entry, and we were just talking about the rotation being cut off. ZARAR is the one that is now just trying to pincer down the rotation of Max D, with one player getting eliminated. Rest of the three are completely away from the crosshair. The players are trying. Sirius is trying. Sirius is literally trying, but the trial is just not resulting him with one more kill or one more knock. With one kill secured in his number, the player seems to be satiated and satisfied, but still the fight is on. Red is being peppered down with a lot of bullets, but what a knock from the sides of Hacker, as now they are trying to give the retaliation.
Oh, now this is going to be incredible for Max D. Haven't secured a single kill. Lost Rai on the other side. Hacker losing out a lot of HP. Have a control of this shack, but for how long they can stay behind this shack? But now things are looking more difficult for this team, because their UAZ is almost got damage, and now it's 90% damage. In fact, now Hacker just staying pretty close to his teammate, and now just gonna apply that energy drink. Look at that. He has that one first aid kit, and that's it. This is going to be way more important for this. Now ZARAR, this 2+1+1 split is so good, because now ZARAR Esports, they have a good control of this compound. One player has a good control of that shack as well as that watchtower. Now they can easily take down the enemies if they are hiding behind, as well as if their enemies are pretty far away from each other. Hacker on the other side connected. Only one single shot, and that's it.
Exactly, and that is going to be the case for the moment, as now Hacker is still trying. He's trying really hard. There is some separation between the tins that are aligned, and that can result with one or more two bullets that can be peppered onto the hands, onto the sides of the players. But for the moment, it is going to be a complete piece. Apart from that, it is going to be some sort of rotation that has been made from the eastern side. It is going to be again a split, 2-1-1 split, with which FS is playing with Tyrant onto the backhand side. The quickness with which Tyrant has held all these rounds, it is seemingly that it is possible, it seems it is possible that the IGL is thinking that the circle might tend to go towards the lab. And just imagine if the circle tends to go towards the lab, what sort of height advantage and what sort of advantage Tyrant can create, and that can be one massive thing. But if not so, I mean, rest of the three players are being deployed on, not on the center line, but still closer to where the players of ZARAR are positioned. And ZARAR at any moment, be aware, be very aware, because it is coming one big team from the backhand side, and that is gonna be of FS. But certainly the circle is not favoring any other team that is present on the eastern side, with circle shifting towards the western side. Severny can be the hotbed, or rather I should say will be the hotbed of contestation.
For sure, and we can see that Tough already predicted that, already sensed the situation moving towards the side of Severny. Now they will enjoy a lot of compounds, but Tyrant, his vehicle so damaged, and so as he will fall down too easy. Find an amazing as well as an interesting opening. They will enjoy the loot as well, and they are pretty close to the safe zone. But Freestyle, they're coming from the backlines. You have to be careful. F2D Jaguar spots down the players, but haven't fired a single shot, because he is more concerned about his position. F2D Evil on the other side, just behind this ice cream truck. Assad will go down, and look at that. We can see Dr. Fate is making things difficult for Too Easy.
Exactly, I mean, Too Easy just falling on stone instantly, with Ivy Esports making a big dent onto them, and a bowl from his side is making a big push onto them. Talking about push, it is going to be the warehouse that shields and that initiates the markup of this territory of Severny, is now being the hot contestation, where now UAG was trying to get a control of it, but rather they would rely on a split with 2 different or 3 different compounds. But they need to make sure that it is also going to be a tough task, as now UNB is slowly and steadily marching towards that. But in doing so, it is going to be a soft elimination for Solo Esports.
Yeah, this is going to be a soft elimination. They will never forget this day. But look at that. Frost, they have a control of this barn house, which is inside the circle. This is going to be important for them. And Freestyle stepping up, taking down the players of Max D UNB, IB Esports present on the sidelines. Edgar, and he is so good. Just scouting the area. ESP just looking out Server, just healing himself up. Brown on the other side takes down one, knocked out one player, and now he is going to secure that kill, but the kill confirmation is not yet here. We have to wait for that. Tough only brought down to 2, secured 4, looking good. But UNB, they can play an important role. Edgar, sense the situation, just going to lob that one grenade towards the players of UNB. This could be the best. Okay. Oh, a bit short. On the other side, look at that. Gardari will fall down. Red spray was so perfect. N416 is the choice. F2D will coming from the sidelines. This is going to be so interesting because now Gardari, he got picked off. Freestyle, only 2 players surviving. Too easy, only 1 player surviving. ZARAR, only 1 player surviving. Tough, only 2. Max D, only 2. UNB lost 2.
Their misery is not ending. Their misery is not ending as the grenades are being hurled into the lap, and with one more knock into its favor, things are looking pretty bleak. On to different tangent. It is going to be Shamir from the sides of 138 with 4 kills, and the play zone is also taking care of MacD Zadar, and all of a sudden, it's a big silence as Freestyles leaves the lobby.
Only 2 points in their back. This is not that what they expected, but ZARAR, look at that. Being more concerned. Only 1 player surviving from the side of ZARAR, playing a little bit passive. That's the bet. Dead showed spots down 1. Edgar haven't received a single amount of damage. That's the best. ESP on the other side, he's inside that one compound, peeking from the same window. Takes down 1, but haven't secured that 1 kill. Look at that, the circle, where it's just going to take a shift. Look at the position of Dread, and no, the circle just moved towards the southern side of Severny. This is so classy.
2 players surviving from the sides of UAG, they still have a chance. They still have a chance because they are finding themselves in the fortified areas of all the compounds, because every time you find yourself in the open, it's the number advantage that favors you. But since UAG are into the central lines of the circle and thus resulting themselves finding into the fortified areas, all they just need to do is to find themselves away from all these fights. But in doing so, it is going to be UNB, the last player surviving from the sides of Max D. It is going to be Dread, but as soon as Dread will be taken away, it is going to be a big fall for not only Dread, but also for the complete team, and that is going to be of Max D Esports, and their elimination marks the 10th team getting elevated with 9 teams still surviving. We are heading towards not still an urban finish because the circle just tended to go away, but there is still a lot of teams that are making a rotation. Talk about the rotation, we are getting to see 138 making a complete southern rotation, and from east to west they are just changing their stance. And now UNB are being penciled down from the backhand side as now IB is making the charge.
Yep, they are making the charge. Look at that. UNB Ghost NF takes down 1, and this is going to be important for that. This one grenade can take down a lot of players. Dead shot just lobbed it perfectly. Abdul will live up another day, but revenge. His kill has been secured. Fade inside that one shack. Another grenade towards Abdul. Lost out 20% HP, but look at that. This is not looking good for Dead shot. Received a lot of damage, brought down to 40 AB from a different angle, taking a lot of fights. Now he got to face the barrage as well. He got knocked out, but this fight taking a lot of time, and this is forcing teammates of UNB to use a lot of utilities, and from a different angle ESP will take him down.
UAG making a big dent onto the players of UNB as now grenades are being held down, but from 2 different directions. It is gonna be obviously one team that is being sent down in different directions. Now Team Frost is also one team that are taking multiple fights with the compound hold. They are looking pretty strong at this moment. 138 are being completely pinned down in the small little shack, and this is the one important knock, one more grenade just lob into the face, and that can mark the end of it. With still 1 player surviving, with UAG coming in from the backhand side, it is gonna be UNB that has been completely sandwiched.
Look at that.
Deadshot survives on a sliver of an HP. He is the lucky guy for the moment, but it seems that UNB won't be the lucky one, as now it is only going to be 1 player surviving from his side, as now Flex have made a big dent, UAG have made a big dent, and now it is going to be from 3-4 different directions. Deadshot, it seems that this game might end at any point.
Grenades just coming from this, coming towards Deadshot from every single angle possible. Smart just playing the smart game, hiding behind the buggy. He lobbed 1 grenade but couldn't be able to find Deadshot in the coffin yet. But now we're still waiting for the circle. Look at that. Look at the beauty of the circle. Too easy on the other side, takes an exit at the 9. Smart still there. Now he has to move inside the circle. The number is 77 meters. Secured 5 kills. Now IB Esports, they are looking pretty strong till now. 21 players alive. But the important part is UNB Deadshot. He's still there. ZARAR Esports final player. He's still surviving. That's the best part for them.
That has been a long case. I mean, the last one still surviving for a long time. And we have seen, I mean, Black from the sides of FS in the past with the survival instinct. And it seems that now he has drawn the inspiration. But Frost, this is not the way, guys, you to try to rotate. But as soon as they rotate, the player will be taken care of. And Deadshot did one good thing, that before falling down, he will be securing at least one more kill into that. And with that, it was a soft, again, an elimination for UNB. With just 4 kills, they leave the lobby. And that thus leaving with 7 teams and 19 players alive, and 1 team that is still into the circle holding the compounds, and that is obviously going to be of certain teams. But since the teams are now going for the rotation, the team are making a push, the team are making a strong slam in. It is going to be Muqaddar falling in for the sides of Execute.
Edgar, that was so good on domination. Secure 3 kills on the other side. We can see, as you just mentioned, the team Frost, they are inside the circle, secure 3 kills. On the Rampage, ESP secured 5 kills. Look at that, this is going to be important. F2D just pushed towards that one compound. Brown takes down one, looking out for another. Dished out a lot of damage. Again, 35 bullets in his arms. Just keep on firing on random side. Knock brought down to only 10. One good grenade can finish off this one team, but they have to be careful. Jump shot. That was good. Brown, just keep on waiting. Now look at that. 3 players on the side of Frost being over aggressive and evil. He receives some amount of damage. Now, revival is going to be the important part for them. Knock, keep on firing towards that one single area, but their survival is going to be the most important thing, because they haven't secured a single kill yet, Ankit.
Exactly, the kill is still not going to the favor, but as soon as they are taking the favor of all these players, there's going to be Rampage mode on which Shamir is standing with 138 total. Obviously, the number is in the favor with Knock still surviving. It is looking pretty much bleak, as now he will be getting a lot of shots on the backhand side. But the two tough guys from the sides of UIG are still surviving thanks to that onslaught that was coming in. But the compound really favored for the moment. But Knock is still surviving in this situation. He's trying to smoke out this cloud. He's trying to make a big smoke cloud in order to get more and more favor of these big, obviously mountainous looking walls that is from behind. He's trying to hide himself. But the question still remains, for how long is it going to be the question? Because from the backhand side, at any point, at any moment, 138 can charge upon to him.
For sure, but look at that. The man advantage in favor of Frost. All the 4 players are alive. Secured 4 kills. Led, just leading the charge. Got to finish. Knock from the lobby. F2D takes an exit at the 5th and heavily dependent on those placement points. Look at that. 138. They're still surviving. 1 player inside the shack, 1 player behind the shack. Krona, he has a pretty decent cover of that burst down. Bucky as well as you is 1 random smoke, and that is going to be played an important role. And that was a grenade. Look at that. There's 1 airdrop present towards the eastern side of 138 passive. Just going to build 1 smoke mark so that their team can easily enter inside the safe zone. They have to move towards a circle, and that is going to be the 40 meters. Brown also joining the fray. 4 teams are alive, and now UAG, this team is still surviving. Look at that, 10 kills secured by only these 2 lads.
ESP 6, Edgar 4 makes a total of 10, and that's where URG are getting a lot of points for the moment. 10 kills, that means 12 points will straight away. That is the least that will be taken away. But as far as their rotation, as far as the positioning is concerned, Edgar is making a close in into the smoke cloud. The players are finding in with the help of those buggy. They are trying to make a slam, but as soon as they get towards that drop, it seems that ESP, everyone will be just sounding a great lance into the feet, into the lap, and it seems that now Team 38 Troner will be on the receiving end as Shamir is still surviving. He has a 6 first aid. That means he has a lot of first aid in his hand, and he can take the fight for a long. But Troner will be finished off on the backhand side as now Frost are marching into circle with 4 men strong.
And look at that, Shami found an opening, just going to finish that. Brown instantly secured another kill on Rampage, secured 6 kills, and now ESP, the revival already being initiated. Serious from the side of ZARAR, he's still surviving. I literally forgot about him, but he is still there to prove the number. Now, Gloss will fall down, only 1 single player surviving from the side of Frost, and there was a time when they were looking so strong, the manpower in their favor, but now that's not the case. Shamir just making things more difficult, and yup, that was a 1v3. That's insane.
Shamir onto a charge, and onto a charge he also going to win with that. Tries to give that drop shot, but survives on a sliver of an HP. That was obviously going to be serious
1v1
from the side of ZARAR. You mentioned about serious, the one sort of survivability he's bringing in. This is not only the survivability, this is going to be the fight of the last moment.
Yep, this is going to be so close. Shamir, 9 kills secured by this one lad. This is so good. Serious, secured 4 kills. Now, there's only one thing, and that is going to be the loadout. Look at that, level 2 helmet, level 3 damage, level 3 vest was totally damaged. Shamir looking so good, and now Serious just popping out lot of utilities towards Shamir.
Exactly, the exact location of Team 38 is what known, and Shamir is finding himself in the small little track that is pursued at the moment. But the point is, Sirius is trying to deal a serious amount of damage to Shamir. He's on the charge.
Yeah.
He is onto a charge, and now the fight is on. He says that enough is enough. We are going to take the fight, and now Molotovs are being used, but still just not getting a lot of info from that. Now he does one thing: is he tries to destroy that buggy. That he's getting that potential cover for the moment. But as you mentioned, it is the 9 kills with which Shamir is standing. Now it is going to be a stalemate situation where the players will be just waiting to get that small little angle and wait for the opponent for that one pro rookie mistake. If that happen, that can be the case. And Sirius, being the wiser one, he has deployed some of the smokes, and Shamir, it seems that he is not trying to block his own angle. What sort of strategies he's trying to do, I'm just not able to do so, because smoking the front angle, that is eventually blocking his own angle. Rather, Sirius is getting more chances for him to survive, but in doing so, it is going to be Sirius from the sides of ZARAR that is getting the better half of the circle, and Shamir needs to move into the circle, but Shamir's location is pretty much anonymous. There was a stun from the sides of Shamir, and since he is getting rid of every sort of backpack, he is making sure, and the team is desperate enough to get that chicken. And so the stances from the sides of Sirius, and so the stances from the sides of Shamir, but it is still going to be a deadlock situation, because where the players are just waiting, they are just waiting from the opponent side. Just do one rookie mistake, will pounce upon you.
Yeah, for sure. Sirius making sure he's still behind that burst down buggy. Shamir not overexposing him. Sirius just charging in. Now his position has been compromised. Shamir just still waiting. Look at that. Look at that. And now that triggers discipline. May fire back. Sirius gonna re-peek from the same angle. Dished out a lot of damage. Still on 100% HP. That's not the case for Shamir. Will he fall down? Yes, he will go for the drop shot at the end. Sirius secured a chicken dinner from nowhere. That lad was surviving from this longest time from the side of ZARAR Esports. This man is so crazy. 5 kills, only 5 kills, but look at that, 20 total points, only 778 damage, and their overall ranking is 21. Still on the 4th, still on the 3rd page in fact, but I love this.
Talk about comeback. Is it a comeback? From that positioning, they are finding themselves at that 21 positioning with just the 5 kills, 778 damage. That showed the survivability. That serious guy from the sides of ZARAR made it look so serious. He went down, he finds himself away from all those fights where it was a complete ruckus, where UAG taking the fight, where you and Vaptev were taking the fight, where Execute were taking a fight, where it was Maxi, I mean, gazillion of teams was finding themselves in the middle of those rubble, but there was one wise guy, and that was of Sirius from the side of ZARAR Esports.
Yeah, but let's take a look at the MVP of this game, and it is going to be, I think so, Shamir. And yeah, secured 9 kills. Obviously, he has to be at that position. And look at that. The point is 138. This team secured more than 11 kills, and he gave 2 assists as well. And that is awesome. Healing done by this lad is 267 against a decent damage. 1207, more than the damage being dished out by one team, and that is ZARAR.
Exactly, I mean, the perfect stat, and just talk about it, when 1207, one single guy, and 700, but nothing taking away from ZARAR Esports. The one that really survives, the one that really thinks about those getting the placement points and the kill points, is where you get a lot of points being shared. But moving on along, we have the match summary where we talk about the Shamir gameplay. I mean, 9 kills, what a game from his side. Highest damage is where he will be finding himself, and that is going to be 1207. And Hacker with that longest kill distance, that is going to be of 297 meters for sure.
Look at that, the total points. Team 138 on the top with 23. They finished at the second, but the kill points was so good. Tough on the second with total 20 points. ZARAR Esports, they secured the chicken dinner, but still on the third just because of less amount of kill points. But I love this. Team Frost on the 4. There was a time when they had great outing. They were looking so strong. They were looking so phenomenal. But it was Shamir.
Exactly.
Who finished them off with his much great performance.
Absolutely, I mean 100 out of 100. We have to give that 10 out of 10. He will be getting 11 out of 10. The sort of performance that he gave, the sort of survivability he did give, and the sort of kill that he was trying to pull on, that was just spot on. I mean, at the last stage, it was him that was trying to take the fight against Sirius, but just because the circle lit favor, if you remember, into the favor of ZARAR Esports, I mean, Sirius was the one that really took the fight to its serious execution, and then we got to see the team that really did falter down. I mean, talk about freestyle. This was one game that they really would love to and would like to, go away this match. This was some sort of a performance where Freestyles did fall around just the 2 total points, and this is certainly was not a justifiable game, because in the past we have seen Freestyles getting a lot of kills, a lot of points, but still 3 more opportunities. Let's talk about the opportunities. We will be getting to see the Miramars and those Sanhoks and those Erangels. That means still a lot of things to talk about and fight at.
But let's take a look. Let's refresh our memories. Let's take a look at the Oppo F19 Pro movements, and these fights were so beautiful, just like this Oppo F19 Pro. But look at that. That's how Tough started their journey, eliminated one team who were at the 17th position. But now, I would love to talk about this fight. Why? Because UNB, they had a good control of that dip. They have a good control of a lot of areas, but at the end, they got sandwiched between Ivy and Tough.
That's where you get backstab. That's where sandwiches actually happen. We got to see a lot of sandwich, and the custom suggests that it is the map of Sanhok where we get to see a sandwich, but certainly this was not the case, where obviously UNB, the team that really needed all these kill points, all these placement points, did falter on, but 100 on 100 with the way, obviously, one team that was of EV Esports was trying to just hurl down the grenades onto the face of it. One player was taken down by Deadshot, but you remember it was also Deadshot before a moment ago. He was the lucky guy that survived just on a sliver of an HP.
But look at that. Edgar and the end finished the story for one team switching into FPP mode. But this was the point when Frost was so confident. Literally destroyed one team and knocked out. When he got knocked out, that was so bad. But at this position, Shami knocked out Brown, just going to finish him off in just one single spray. Then knocked out another player, and that was Kloss. And at that moment, only one single player surviving from the side of Frost, and that is passive IGL. He also got taken down by this. But look at that. He escaped from this drop shot. She just literally jumped fire onto that last player, and at the end, he secured a chicken dinner for his team. So much important.
Outplayed. He was outplayed, completely outplayed. He was in the prone position, but certainly that jump shot really worked into his favor. For the moment, talking about outplaying, it is going to be tough from the sides of UAG, where they are finding themselves at the 159 total points. At the first position, with obviously Rage has been overtaken with a total point of 145. When talking about that, the team and the rest of the lobby from 2 to 8 remains the same, apart from that #1, where now it has been conquered by UAG Tough with a total of 79 kill points and 50 points, making a total of 159, and this is looking good. It seems that now they're just falling shy 41 points away from 200 markup, which can be pretty much doable, because with the momentum that Tough is carrying, this is looking pretty tough for the rest of the lobby.
Look at that. Freestyle just dropped down to 15. Quraysh Esports on the 14th position, sharing the same amount of points F2D has now. But the good point for F2D Esports is they just played only 9 matches. Solo Esports still on the 16. No changes occur in their performance, still holding that 16-1 with 68 total points. But look at that. Ivy Esports stepping up. Team Frost as well as ZARAR. I'm quite happy with this. But which team will finish their journey in the top 40? That is going to be the question.
That is going to be the question. That is going to be the question of the hour. I just got to see Freestyles making a downward leap, but since 3 games are still left, it might be a situation where Quraysh might be just crashing out of the top 14, and that can certainly be one thing that they really don't want to happen in the favor. But for the moment, it is going to be EV Esports. That is one green marker that means that they are making the top positioning. But since 2EZ4, they are making the fight, and they are taking the fight with 16 kills, total of 19 placement points, makes a total of 35. The future looks bleak, but anything is possible in this lobby. But certainly they are getting a lot of kill points, a lot of experience, because at the end of the day, there will be more tournaments. And talking about the tournaments, this is one good experience that any team would love to be in, and certainly Team 2EZ4 are getting it.
And you know what? If you just end up your journey in the group stage, at least you will get that consolation prize, and that is going to be the $300. That is going to help you a lot, and that is going to give you a boost so that you can perform well in the upcoming tournaments. But if we talk about this is the best I ever casted, because that was a close call. Sirius was so good in ZARAR Esports, showcasing as well as showcasing that perfect amount of dominance. But at the end of the first match is done, we still have 3 games left, but we need a little bit of breather. So we go on a short break. Coming right up, it's going to be the second match for the day.
Here we go now.
Are you keeping it real? I'm calling shot
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to PUBG Mobile Club Open Fall Split, Pakistan region, sponsored by Oppo F19 Pro. Hook up your fun. My name is Phoenix Shamans. Alongside me is Ankit Sharma. We just casted the first game of the day, and this is the last day for the semi-final. We just head on towards the Miramar map, but before that, the first match was phenomenal.
I mean, exactly. But before moving that, we are heading towards the schedule for the moments, because it is going to be the desert action, and that is going to be of Miramar, and that will be the course of the match. Talking about that, one game is done. Erangel is where ZARAR got the chicken, and then Miramar, Sanhok, Erangel. But talking about the build-up that we were just talking about before this match came up, it is going to be freestyles, it is going to be solo esports, it is obviously going to be a lot team. I mean, just talk about the teams like crown holders. They really started their journey from the 17th position, but one bad game have actually faltered down, and their hope, I mean, the things that can really falter down.
They're on the 19th position, basically, Ankit, and that is sad. Now, the point is, you have to be on the top 14 position, because Quraysh Esports, they are holding that top 14, but they played their 12 matches. Team like Freestyle and Solo Esports, they still have to play their other 3 matches which are left for the day. Now, the hopes are still high for these 3 teams. Now, Freestyle secured 73 points. On the other side, we can see Solo Esports secured 68 points. So, things are pretty much interesting.
Exactly.
They are quite interesting, but the teams who are on the 3rd page of the leaderboard, they are not that far away. Let's take example of IV Esports. They just climbed up the ladder on the 18th position, and their points are 66. The mark is 77, 66. 12 more points, and they will move forward towards the top 40.
Pretty close is where we are heading towards the second game of Miramar, and this is going to be the fate decider for each and every team, as we still are left with 3 games including this one. But certainly the build up is real, and certain teams will be missing up the mark, and in doing so certain teams will be having a very joyous time. But for the moment, the flight path is already on from the area of Ladrilla downtown towards the area of Puerto Parasio, and Los Leones, one city that will be some sort of hot contestation is where we expect the site to be at. But certainly the cities like Hacienda del Petrol, Critterfield, Water Treatment, El Hazar is pretty much unglidable, but still as an option. They still have those vehicles spawned near the areas of NHS, and then we might get to see the teams might be just jumping towards the same area, and slowly necessarily they might rotate towards the same area. But for the moment, it is going to be the Circle that might play the notorious shift. Just imagine Circle completely dominating onto the northeastern side or maybe northwestern side. But till now, this PUBG god has been generous enough towards all these players.
Kind of generous, we can say that. But now, what if the zone is going to form towards the north side of the map, towards the Hacienda del Petro or San Martin? Then it is going to be more interesting that how these teams going to react to that, and how they're going to focus on those early rotations. So that is going to be the point of concern for a lot of teams. If we talk about a lot of teams now, the important part is, as we just mentioned the same point in the pre-game segment, and that is you have to be in the top 40 now. 77 points being secured by this Quraysh. F2D on the 13th, they already played their 9 matches. They also have 77 points, so they have to be consistent. But look at the Circle, present as well as formed towards the eastern side of the map. F2D quite happy now. They just have to hold their grounds as long as possible. Otherwise, they will found themselves on the lower side of the map. UAG up against the players of 2EZ. 2EZ has nothing to lose, but they are going to focus on this fight. UAG on the other side, we talk about Tough on the top page. In fact, they are on the top, on the first position of the overall ranking, so they are looking pretty strong. If we talk about their kill points, they secured 79 kill points and 80 placement points. So balance is necessary, and they are showcasing the same thing.
Exactly. I mean, the placement points and kill points are well shared if we just talk about the total point system for UAG. And since it is one team that won't shy away and that doesn't shy away from taking the fight, it is going to be a tough luck and a tough resort from the sides of Team T. Easy 4 for them if they try to take the fight. For the moment, it is going to be all 4 players aligned and taking the formation, but certainly the ground and the elevated height where Thor is positioning himself, creating the left flank angle is one good thing that the team can really rely and cherish upon. But for the moment, it is going to be Edgar getting that right flank, and since he is the one that is leading the charge, obviously we have seen him obviously in that team card with the highest KPM. I guess it was 3.5 before the start of the day, but certainly that could have gone, or that could have dropped in terms of the kill that he was able to secure. But certainly, since it was not one good game for him into this early stage game, he is now trying to rip down the bullets. Tifa is on the receiving end, but Khalifa is also making a rotation. But one thing is for sure, that they now know the exact positioning of UAG. I'm sure that Team 2EZ4 won't do this mistake again to come into the trap and find themselves in the open position, because they know the exact position from where the bullets was spread.
Yeah, now they're just being more, safe, as well as more careful. Basically, that's the best term. Now look at that, Khalifa. He has been spotted down by Edgar, and Edgar still waiting for that perfect opportunity. This is going to be, and missed his chance. Now still gonna reload his weapon. But I just want to mention one thing, and that is Mr. Fixed in a spot out, ESP in an open area, just going to take him down. Look at that. He got stuck inside this one compound, and two players from the side of Tough just charging in towards him. He just dropped down from the building, and then they haven't sensed it. Yes, I don't think so. And yup, look at that. When Thor, he was in the open area, Mr. Zayd just out a lot of damage. Thor on just 10% HP. This is so crucial for them. They have to survive for till the end, otherwise they will falter down. They are still on the first page of the dealer board, but still, that's the dignity.
Exactly. I mean, there is everything to take away from this, but talking about everything to take about, I mean, both the teams, they really don't have to miss about, because Team EZ4 is one team that is sitting on the bottom of the chart and one team that is sitting on the top of the chart. So it's a fight between #1 and the team that is sitting on the #last positioning, and this is going to be one good fight that we just need to talk about. And the positioning obviously is better for UAG Tough here, and they are looking pretty much tough, but till now they have been giving a pretty sort of resistance, and it seems that now UAG are being pressed to make a back from this same stances, and now they're falling off. This is one victory that Team 2EZ4 will be taking away from this fight, because they have made sure that they will be making one team that was looking so strong till now, but they have to back off. They have to back off, and I would say this is a victory for 2EZ4.
Yeah, till now. For now, they can enjoy this victory. But the important part is Edgar, he's still there. Virus and Thor, they are still surviving. Edgar, if we talk about this one lad in the previous match, he secured 4 kills as well as gave 3 assists to his teammates as well. So he got the maximum assists in the previous match. So this is the point where you can talk about this lad, because he's looking so good. Now, Zayd, he has an M249. Now, they have to cover almost 1200 meters so that they can be in the play zone. Now, the rotation is going to play an important role. Why? Because too easy. Again, if you are in the lobby, if you are in the group stage, you always focus on that top 14 point. But look at that, Max Craig moving from the southern side of the map, heading towards Porto Periso, and they're going to find another team looking out at and basically just holding the same drop location, and that is going to be Crown Holders, Ankit.
Exactly, that is going to be a question as how Crown Holders will be going for their approach, and I'll have my eyes set upon as now Crown Holders in the last match they did falter down, and thus resulting them slipping down slowly and steadily. 17 is where they started the journey, if I'm not wrong, and 19 is where they are after the end of first match.
True. Now Solo on the other side. Look at this split. Khan has a control of Impala. Luffy just heading towards him. When I'm just gonna move towards the more eastern side to be on the safer side, and that is going to be interesting. But now, if we talk about this, ZARAR moving inside the circle, and we can see that F2D, they are fighting some shot towards the players of Freestyle Malik, and now he received some amount of damage, but Black, he will found himself on the receiving end. Look at that, his vehicle got blown up. He's just making sure to make an extra cover as well as to block out the vision of his opponents. Black has a cover of that pretty huge rock, but Knock and Cushion, they can do whatever they want.
Black again in the open. He has used all those smokes just in order to blind that vision, as you perfectly mentioned. And since he is now falling himself back, it is going to be the Malik that will be giving the cover fire only if the player from the sides of F2D goes for unnecessary aggression. But for the moment, it is going to be F2D that is finding themselves in the fortified areas with two different players on the backhand side. This is a good split. And since FS was just trying to realize the sense of the situation, they have now realized that there is danger ahead, and why not to better fall back rather to fall in the trap of the players. And since they are on a roll, it seems that Malik is falling back, but Black is still in the same position. It's a Mirado, it's a buggy rather, with which he's trying to make and progress himself. And Malik, I mean, he is going towards the place of where the rest of the players are pretty much situated. But now it seems that this is a strategic move, if we have to just talk about that, because Black could have been on the backhand side, and since now it is Black that is giving a lot of information. Gardari, I mean, this minibus is the worst to travel. The worst travel because, I mean, the size with which it holds eventually that offers a lot of bullet being peppered down onto him, and eventually thus resulting him that can be taken down at any moment. It has not been taken down, and Gardari, being the wiser one, realizing the situation that the terrain won't be favoring him to traverse, and also the speed of those buses are not pretty much in order to traverse. And then they could have faltered down, but Gardari is still in that pinned position, and all these fights are happening in the area of Minas Generals. But La Bendita is where the crates are formed, and where if is one more player from the sides of F2D will is position. But the circle shift, I mean, this is a central one, and by the looks of it and what I have seen in the past, these sort of circles tends to go again in the center lines of the Impala, and then tends to shift away from the center lines of Impala and maybe form towards the northern side of Impala, where if that happens, it will be a good thing for crown holders that is going for the extreme rotation. All four players in some sort of rotation, looking good for the moment.
Certainly looking good, because these teams are inside the circle. But now, Ankit, the important part is a lot of teams, they are struggling inside the blue zone, taking a lot of damage of the blue, taking consistent amount of damage in the blue. So that's not a good thing for you. But Frost, I would love to talk about this team. Why? Because in the previous match, they got pinched down by just one lad, and that was Shamir. ZARAR on the other side, just moving from the northwestern side, heading towards Junkyard, and that is going to be a good place so that you can hold on. And now, look at that. They just halted towards that Port Junction, and now Solo can't decide on some amount of damage towards the players of Too Easy. They found an early fight. They won that early fight, in fact, secured only one kill, but right now they are just moving towards the zone, and they caught off guard by Khan. Look at that, the damage was nasty, but this out only 22 damage. Players are still surviving, but no, I spoke too soon. Tifa will go down. He got knocked out, but the revival is going to be there. Khan, what he can do is just, he can easily burst down that vehicle.
I mean, that can be certainly be the case, but before that happens, they need to make sure that they are far away from that vehicle, as he is knowing the fact that Khan has spotted on him down, and that vehicle burst can eventually burst off two players if they are present in the same vicinity. But on different tangent, it is going to be UAG Tough, Edgar, Thor going down slowly and steadily, and it is going to be Team 138 that is making them pay, and it seems that Edgar and Thor have been finished off too.
They are increasing the lead because they are on the 12th position in the overall ranking, 138 with 82 points. And after securing those 2 kills, now they have total 84. So yeah, this is a good thing. Team 2EZ4 finally survived from that situation. Now they're going to find themselves present towards the Junkyard area, or we can say towards a certain side of the Junkyard. But Freestyle, look at that. This team, they have to prove that metal, because now they are on the 15th position in the overall ranking with 73 total points in their backpack. And Tyrant, okay, that is a Spider-Man buggy.
Wow, defying the gravity.
Yes.
The lad has actually stepped up. I mean, obviously that's the value. That's the value, 9.8. Okay, yep. But defying the gravity, the player has actually gotten hold of all these ridges that can actually come in handy. But for the moment, it is Tyrant defying the gravity. He is the moment that is really defying the physics for the moment, as now the fight is really slowly and steadily heating up. And with this cheeky angle, the X factor with which the Tyrant can bring in, this is one good game that Freestyle wants. And in doing so, the player are positioning well.
Yeah, they are just positioning themselves pretty well. Now, Khalifa, again, his position has been compromised, but But Tyrant spots him out in the previous time we saw the player. It was from the side of Tough. Now 138, they are just struggling inside the blue. Again, Flex also moving towards the circle. It's Ivy. And now they're still taking some amount of damage inside the blue. But look at that, what we have in the second airdrop. That 8x scope with the MK14, the beast. With the two faces, level 3 kid inside that airdrop too, pretty close to the players of F2D. Now, if any player decide that he's gonna collect some good loot and he's just gonna upgrade his loadout, then yep, airdrop is the perfect stuff. You can go for that. But right now, what Freestyle is just focusing on the placement.
Yeah, they are going for those placements, and placement is where that can actually be getting helped. And for the moment, it is going to be Gardari that is again changing its position with Tyrant. It seems that now he has found himself away from all those cheeky angles. Now the man is again in the buggy. I mean, he is looking pretty strong at this moment, and now slowly and steadily the fights will be erupting as now the players are going into the fight, and it seems that yes, they will be finding themselves a fight, and Frost is the one that is finding in the positioning with Tyrant spotting him down. Can he bring that one knock? But no. This is a miss.
Yep.
This is a miss, and realizing that how fast he is getting congregated with the rest of the team. Yeah. This shows that he was knowing that it could have been just one knock, one finish, eventually finding himself in the safe haven again.
Yeah, again, just regroup with his teammates. But Solo versus Freestyle, this is going to be an incredible fight because 15th versus 16th, these teams are pretty close to each other. And if any team will take down any other team, then this is going to be the saddest moment in the Miramar. But look at that, Gardari present on the western side, and that is going to be something important. But he always thrives on these type of scenarios. Let's see what it's going to do.
Yeah, it is going to be the case, as now Freestyle is again finding himself in the positioning. I mean, a lot of Freestyles we have seen in the past. It seems that now the observers are also stuck under the consideration with Freestyle showing them. But till now, Freestyle is not indulging into the fight, and this Miramar, for obvious, the 14 minute has been the slowest of the 14 minutes. Just the 3 players taken away from this lobby, and as soon as I said, it is going to be ZARAR's player getting the better half, as now it is obviously going to be Execute taking the fight in their favor. But still, Freestyles are looking to take the fight. They are knowing that there is going to be one team onto the front hand side that they need to take care of, but Gardari is just not overexposing themselves. Gardari is still not overexposing himself, but holding that left flank angle can really help him bring that X factor with Black on the backhand side and Malik on the backhand side. Tyrant is making sure that no push would come straight right off the go.
That is going to be the strategistic move from the side of Freestyle. But you know what? The important part is Max D. They were engaging against the players of Crown Holders. Max D, they are on the 22nd position with only 51 points, so their hopes are still high. Crown Holders on the 19 with 62. So this is going to be an important fight. But let's see, Shamir pinching down the players of Virus, and on the other side, Tough. They got eliminated at the 13. Not a great outing for this team. Ouch moment indeed for the teams, as now they are looking to take the fight, and a big upset for Team Tough. But nothing to worry about. Team Tough is already finding themselves in the position. Yeah, but Solo on the 16, they need some more kill. But look at that, F2D. One player got knocked out from the blue, and they never expected this. But now 138 Esports slowly and steadily moving in. But now F2D, they have to do something, because Evil got knocked out. The 3 players are so good in this situation. But now 138, they're gonna lose their one player from Khalifa, looking so good. Now Team EZ and gonna secure another kill. Evil will go down. Domination for Mr. Fix.
Wow, is it a comeback? Is it a comeback from Team 2EZ4? In the last game itself, Team 2EZ4 really find themselves in a good position. In the early game itself, they have got 3 kills, and thus resulting themselves finding the 3 important points. And this is a different Team 2EZ4 that is completely looking in a different color for the moment, as now they might be facing the onslaught that is coming from the side of Solo Esports. Do Solo Esports know? Yep, they do know. But is it going to be enough for them to take down the player? It seems that Khalifa has been spotted down, with Luffy just trying to spot him down. It is going to be not an easy task, rather a Herculean one, as now they are trying to make a move into the zone. Holding the southern edge is going to be one big thing. come into zone, it is going to that as soon as they come into zone, it is going to be one more team onto the backhand side that can actually pin them down, and that will be a bad thing for them, because as Solo Esports is also on to the 16th position. They are not surviving on the kill strategies for the moment, as now 68 is the total points, and they really need all these 4-5 points, and if that come into the kill, that can be certainly one way that will be welcome with all the team members.
Yeah, let's see what they're gonna do right now. But look at that, Ivy stepping up, takes down Klaus by that explosion of that one vehicle. Mr. Fix is just waiting, and look at that, he has a red dot as well as one canted sight, and they have a good control of this compound present towards the edge of the circle, but they secured 3 kills, kind of decent start for them. And now look at this circle, Flex moving inside, present towards the players of ZARAR. Max D, this 2+2 split could work out in their favor, but Execute can easily destroy their journey as well as their host. But now I'm quite happy with the placement of Freestyle. Tyrant pretty far away from the back, but still collecting a lot of information.
Exactly, I mean, Tyrant is collecting that information. He's the lad that really leads the charge. You remember him getting closer and closer toward the hill. For the moment, it is going to be all about F2D Jaguar. The Jaguar is really looking good at this moment, as he had not brought down to 1 knock onto the player of Team Frost, and all of a sudden the tide is changing, and all this contestation are happening onto the eastern side of the map, on the eastern side of the map, where in the center lines it is going to be the FS. And you talked about that flank angle. Tyrant here we have, thanks for that visual that is coming in, and that really brings down and comes down like how the teams are actually positioning. And Malik is also the one that is also leading the charge, with the players getting knocked down from his M16A4. The players are looking pretty well, and that burst down Ronnie Truck will eventually won't help him, as now he is trying really hard, and he finished off that player. That one shot just got connected onto the leg of that knock player, thus resulting getting more and more kills secured for Freestyles.
Yeah, that is the best part, because now they secured at least 1 point. F2D trying their level best. Jaguar, he got knocked out, but knock on the other side, just providing as well as just reviving his teammate. But look at that, this circle is way more better than any other, because Tyrant, he's the only person from the side of Freestyle who is inside the circle. Freestyle will start moving inside the circle, but 138 too easy, as well as other teams. They have to focus on the rotation. Solo got ready toward this one shot, but cruel. He's so cruel. He got thrown down, takes down another. Winner will go down too. Oh my goodness, crown holders, they're doing a lot of job, and that's what I expected. Solo, one single player surviving, because Khan, he got knocked out by that Molly. Luffy on just 60% HP, spots down Blaza, but unable to connect a single shot. This is not good for Solo. They never expected this. Crown holders just gonna dominate and just gonna finish Solo Esports from the lobby. Just secured only 1 point, but after this finish, crown holders will found themselves on the 18th position, because they had 62 points, now they have 66.
There's no stopping crown holders, as now eliminating one team. Now they're charging upon Max D, as now they're finding into formation. The animation is on, that means Ocean can bring that knock from the sides of crown holder. Braves is pretty much closer than that. Knock is already there, as now Ecstasy goes down. Asad is the one that will be trying to keep the revival, but the 2-2 split is actually favoring the crown holders.
Oh, yes, for sure. Look at that, how many utilities they just tossed toward the players of Max D, but Asad just going to revive his teammate ZARAR from a different angle, pinching down the players of Ivy, and UNB also stepping up. Look at that, Execute just going to utilize the situation into their favor, pinching down the players of ZARAR, hiding behind that rage, but Blaze is going to toss another molly towards the players of Max D. Is this going to work out? I don't think so. It's a big shot, but Bonga from a different angle, pinching down the players of Ivy. 2 players got knocked out, only 1 player Revenge is surviving from the side of that one team, but for how long he can survive on the other side? 138 takes an exit at the 11. 138, they were at the 12th position, so they are quite good, but they have to be consistent. They have to showcase that consistent performance. ZARAR, Bonga got that Grenadier title. They are looking so good. Come on, crown holders, you can easily dominate this lobby. Secured another kill.
They are dominating for sure, as now Hawker goes down, thus resulting one more team getting thrown away from this match with just 0 kill point in spot. Maxi starting and got a crouch shot. He was trying to give them, but certainly he did falter down.
But too easy for Tifa. He secured that kill, falling back towards a teammate. Crown holders, they have to be careful because they lost 1 player.
Indeed, it is going to be the case, but for the moment, Team 2 Easy4 from the backhand side, now they are marching on to the players of Crown Holder. Ocean can be on the receiving end, as now grenade just fell short, but one thing is for sure, that the burst of vehicle will give a lot of resistance if the bullet is peppered onto them. But there is no stopping. Khalifa is now trying to burn down the player, and the player might be charred down to death, as now the player are marching. Not only them, that is also going to be one more big team coming in from the southern side, and that is going to be of UNB.
Yep, that is going to be the squad of UNB. Too easy, already scored a lot of kills, but FS Malik will knock out Max from the side of UNB. Brownie, he got thrown down, but oh no, he knocked out one, but okay, that was a close call. To be honest, F2D going to survive that situation. Brown tried his level best. Frost, this type of slit just not working out in their favor. Cushion just going to heal himself up, then he's going to revive his teammate, but UNB, look at their position. Now, two players just inside this one shack, two players pretty close to that ridge. That dip is providing them a lot of cover, but ZARAR, this team is so good. After that one chicken dinner, they are on the 21st position with 53 points, and they secured 7 total points, and that is going to be 60. So they will find themselves on the 20th position.
That's going to be the case. That is certainly going to be the case. We'll get to see in the overall ranking, but for the moment, there is still left for them, as now ZARAR with the 7 kills now are on a charge, with them leading the charge from the northern side. It is not going to be a tough task for them to make a move, but certainly they are going to be creating a lot of rubble, a lot of ruckus, a lot of chaos, as now we are heading and jumping into the 24th minute of the game. Still 23 minutes and 10 seconds on the clock. The clock is ticking, and so are the players, and so are their M4s, and so are their AKMs, as now we are getting to see a complete domination coming in from the side of Team Music. For Khalifa is leading the charge, but on different direction. It is vehicles that are being completely flipped thanks to the onslaught that is coming in from the side of Team Execute, with Arsalan leading the charge. It is going to be an important factor, as now Koyom is going down. That means he needs the revival, but on different tangent. It is going to be Kashan from the sides of F2D that is still surviving, and he is the lone man army. For how long he is going to be surviving, that is going to be the question of the hour. But Black falls down. That means, is it an elimination of freestyles? It is going to be elimination of freestyles, and with that being said, it is going to be one more elimination for freestyle, as they now leave the lobby with just securing total of 3 points.
That is not good. That is not good, because Ankit, they had 73, and the team who's on 14, they have 77. So it means they just have 76 points in their backpack. Arslan just going to finish things off for this one team, and that is going to be F2D Esports taking it at the 8. But Muqaddar, he needs a revival. Arslan just heading towards him, but okay, revenge from the side of Ivy. He is still there. He's still surviving, and we saw it earlier. One man can easily do a lot of things.
He can do so. He can be that one-man army. He can be that charming factor. He can bring a lot of charisma for his team, as now he's still surviving with ZARAR Vaz with the 3-kill domination. I mean, this is a go-to guy. Every time you see ZARAR seriously getting a big chicken or maybe a big good game. Oh, no. Last time it was serious. This time it is obviously Vaz, and this is certainly one good thing. But they need to make sure that it is going to be revenge from the sides of obviously Ivy that can really take care of them. It's the back that Vaz needs to take care of. Vaz, just watch your back, else you will be taken care of.
Yep, you know what? You have to clear out those back lines. You have to clear out those backstabs. Otherwise, you will get pinched down from the back. Arslan on the top. ZARAR was just making sure that he has enough cover, hiding behind that one cube. UNB still there in the center. ZARAR present towards Western Light. Too easy, also moving in. And that one grenade lobbed in from the side of Bonga. Haven't touched any much yet, but oh, revenge! He lobbed one grenade, another being tossed in, and that is going to be the follow-up. Vaz is brought down to 40, and he will go down.
Muqaddar going down, and that was the field state for obviously Maxi. But Arsalan, one more kill, Execute is on a charge.
Okay, Max from a different angle going to take down the players of Too Easy. IB Esports taking it at the 6. We have only top 5 teams, and Execute, they are struggling inside the blue, and they got eliminated at the 5th. Too Easy, 8 kills being secured. Zaid, only one player surviving from the side of this one team, but look out for ZARAR, 11 kills. 2 players got knocked out, but still 2 are surviving.
That is going to be the case. That is certainly going to be the case of this tournament, as now Team Too Easy for completely in a different sort of approach. They are moving towards the circle, and it is going to be again one more player from the sides of Frost, and that is this time it is going to be Para Igel. But now this is going to be a case where UNB they try to spot him down, and not only spot him down, he will be eliminating him, as we are now jumping into the last half of the circle where ZARAR, all the 4 players again back on the feet. This is again one more chicken for them.
Yeah, for sure. This might be, and this has to be their chicken dinner. And yep, making things more clear, UNB is the final team, and only one single player is going to be 1v4. How he gonna manage that? That's going to be the question. But ZARAR looking so good. Secure 12. Okay, Pharaoh knocked down 2. He just makes sure that he's just gonna finish. That's a 1v3. Oh, so close, but at the end, ZARAR secured another for the day. This is so good. I would love to see at which position they are, because now they secured a lot of kill points. 29 total points on the third team. This is amazing, astonishing performance from the side of ZARAR. I am speechless.
This is magnanimous. This is magnanimous. You talk about comebacks. This is where ZARAR Esports are just chiming in, and this is one good thing that can happen in the favor. 2,200 damage is what they were able to secure out of a total 14 kills. The comeback is obviously real for ZARAR Esports, and really it was also a good game for the rest of the team. As we talk about the performance, UNB were also looking pretty much phenomenal, and also other teams, but it was certainly the man of the moment. Obviously from the sides of Team Too Easy for Mr. Fix. He was just trying to fix everyone, head everyone, obviously the positioning, and getting closer and closer towards that most valuable player ranking. 4 kills is what he was able to secure, and the total of 829 damage. A healing, that is 147 survival time. I mean, a decent performance. There is no two ways doubt about this.
And he's the person who secured the first blood of the match, and how he got the MVP title. ZARAR, look at that. 2 players from the side of that one team. Serious again in the top players on the second. 4 kills being secured, but this one lad was on the third, secured 4 kills, 599 damage, approximately 600. But I am so impressed by this one lad, Ursulan, from the side of Execute. Look at that, the match summary in front of us. ZARAR just shining so bright. The longest distance kill is 196 in Miramar. Okay, that's not normal.
That completely shows that there were a lot of short range and close range fight that was taken in, and thus resulting the team getting a lot of kill points, a lot of placement points. To talk about kills, it is against ZARAR. Last time it was 7. This time it is gonna be the double of what they were able to secure. We're talking about the aggression. ZARAR is making it happen that not only the placement point is what they rely upon, it is also going to be the kill factor, and a total of 29 points is what they will be taken away. And adding to that, Execute is also one big team that was really looking to have their games in, but crown holders, I mean, they really slipped off in the early stage of the game, in the game of Erangel, where the day started. But now 7 points, how far are going to be they taking the lead? That is going to be the one big question, and I guess that will be answered in a moment.
I think so. They are going to be found themselves on the 17th position again, because now they secured 7 points. Previously they had 62, which is going to be equal to 69. Let's see what's going to happen. But we have the second page of the match ranking. Freestyle, another bad outing for this team. Max T on the 11th. They are already struggling because they were on the 22nd position in the overall ranking. Now they just secured only 1 point. So the same thing for Solo Esports. But let's take a look at the Oppo F19 Pro movements. Let's refresh our memories, and this was so good. Solo Khan, look at that. The way he dished out, the way he connected every single bullet on top of the players of ZARAR, that was awesome.
But then ZARAR just survived that onslaught, because this was the team that got the chicken. That means ZARAR not only was good in defending their fortress, they were also good in defending if they are being charged upon. And then this was a time where Team 138 was just being eliminated, and with that we got to see a lot of fight that still erupted on the eastern half of the circle, where Team Too Easy for, they were just looking phenomenally well.
They certainly was looking so phenomenal, literally taking down every single team, literally taking down the best contenders who are in the overall ranking. But Revenge, that was a ballsy move, but at the end he got taken down by Ursulan. And UMB Max, that was a good approach. At the end he tried his level best to, that was a 1v4, but at the end he got taken out. But now not different, only UNB just stepped up. Nothing changed yet except this one team on the 7th with 115 points, played 10 matches, secured 1. But look at that, tough still on the first.
Exactly, I mean, they are looking to increase their lead. They are just eyeing for the 200 mark, but in this game itself it was them that did falter on. But here is one good thing: Quraysh Esports have crashed out of that top 16, and top 16, I mean top 14 is where the teams will be getting towards them. But Quraysh, now they are out of the top 14 and they don't have any match left. It is also one chance for Freestyles to fight their metal out, and there might be one good thing that Team 138, ZARAR Esports, F2D and Freestyles are in close contestation, because 76 total points and 82, just the 6-point difference between them and their own teammates, and obviously in the lobby that they're playing with. Obviously there is one good chance again for IB Esports. I mean, if we see this region, we talk about the start of the contestation. We just saw how the point closeness is there from 13 to not only 16, 17, 18, 19 team are also under consideration and in contestation.
But the bad thing is, Ankit, apologies there, the bad thing is Solo Esports. They just dropped down to the 3rd position, and it is literally heartbreaking, Ankit, because they started their journey of this day. They were on the 2nd page of the leaderboard. Now they are on the 3rd, which I never expected, but let's see how they're going to perform. We still have 2 matches left for the day.
Exactly. I mean, yep, that is going to be of the Sanhok and of the Erangel. In Erangel, it was ZARAR. Obviously, in Miramar, it was ZARAR. Is it going to be 3rd time for them, Sanhok? That is going to be the one big question.
That is going to be the one big question, but we still have 2 games left. We need a little bit of breather. We go on a short break. Coming right up, it's going to be the 3rd match for the day.
Here we go now.
Are you keeping it real? I'm calling shotgun, wanna see my baby run. Oh, what's the word on the sea? Kicking up the dust, if you know what I mean. We got a good thing going. We got a good thing going on.
Hello and welcome, of course, to PUBG Mobile Club Open at the Pakistan region. Indeed, is where we're at in the final day, and things are looking really heated up. Where ZARAR has been absolutely phenomenal, and yes, I have taken over Phoenix's place. I'm Blorok joining you guys for the next 2 remaining games, and of course, with that, let's bring up the schedule. Where now we will be jumping onto the map of Sanhok, of course.
Exactly, the 2 times, the start of the day, it has been twice where ZARAR has hit the right spot. Once it was the 7-kill chicken, this time it was 14-kill chicken. This is the 3rd time where they will be jumping into the action with one just objective to get 1 more chicken. If that happens, that will be certainly one good thing. But we need to really talk about the other teams that have really started making. Talk about Tron holders. They were on the 17th position and now they just slipped down and then they are just again on 17th position. But everything will come to an end as now we are jumping straight right off the go.
Absolutely are, and in that we do of course have the flight path taking us all the way from North Cow region going down south. Well, going down south, yes, but not technically south. It is of course south west, and that is where of course the flight path is going to be taking us towards Tembang. So basically the teams are being kind of not allowed to go all the way down towards the eastern front of Kampong, all the way down towards Docks Cave, which is going to get a little tricky. Camp Charlie, once again, the same kind of an affair, but eventually again when it comes down to this map, you do know for a fact that this is a small map compared to the other that are part of the show of the flow, and in that when it comes down to this map, well, the teams do end up making those sort of rotations very quickly because again, like I said, it's a small scale map, and eventually when it comes down to the play itself, we are of course looking at the teams who are going to be absolutely ferocious as they get themselves jumping into the arena. And this time around, once again, the eyes are going to be on to the front of ZARAR as to what sort of a play are they going to be bringing to the table, because that team has been ferocious today and has absolutely been annihilating the competition. But will that journey be continuing along as we get ourselves set up for the 3rd game of the day, the 2nd last game of the day? And in that, the team of ZARAR has been just hunkering down the opponents again and again, back to back to back. But will this be a third time charm is what we shall have to see. Of course, the groups that are going to be playing, this is going to be their final games for the semi-finals itself, as next week we're going to be jumping into the regional finals at the PMCO, where we do have invited teams also, but for now we are going to be looking at the top 14 teams that will move on into the finals itself. As of now, we do have 2easy right here on our strings along with MaxD, and this team of MaxD as well as 2easy. These are 2 very skill-hungry teams. They have been able to showcase a lot of synergistic plays. 2easy I've seen personally as well being very, very synergistic in terms of the way that they are able to create flank angles, and Khalifa right there is exactly going to be working towards the same. But it seems like Tifa is the man who has already been given a lot of damage for now, and that is not going to be working in his favor. But eventually, of course, it seems like he's going to be bandaging himself up. A first aid has not been found yet, but that's okay. But eventually, again, when it comes down to his teammates, thankfully the teammates are there to give him that sort of a cover. But look at MaxD now. That is an aggressive stance. Of course, but now as I try and build up this momentum, it is going to be just the counter that is going to take place, where the teams are going to get, well, they're going to hunker down. They are going to just get into that stalemate sort of a situation. They're going to try and perfectly combine their information with the teammates conversation, and that is when they will try and understand that, all right, we do know that the players are here, and that is when a push can be expected. As of now, we can clearly see that the information is what these teams are working towards, and to create that information, or rather to get that information, the stalemate situation is kind of evident and is going to take place every single time, no matter what fight, no matter what team you're talking about. But of course, right now we do have MaxD's Hacker right here, who is also has not been able to get himself a first aid, but just those 5 bandages is what he's got. But thankfully, of course, the vest working in the dude's favor. Assad coming along as well from the MaxD's side, and he has a perfect level 2 set working for himself. Now, Hacker right there is going to be trying to take on a fight against the players. Eventually, again, it seems like he has been able to spot the players from the side of 2easy, but 2easy have not been brought down to their knees right now. The damage has been dealt just a little onto Zed, but that is pretty much it. On the other front, it is the players of MaxD who are going to have to be a lot more careful, because we can see right here, Ecstasy is the man who has also gotten a lot of damage in this spray that was, of course, showcased right here, where 40%, almost 60%, I would say, health has been brought down. But eventually, again, there is no knock. There is absolutely no knock. So a slow poke play is being showcased from both of these teams as we get ourselves jumping in. This is the 4th minute marker that these teams have been here. Again, I mean, I've casted games where we've actually seen, teams end up going all the way down to the 8th or 9th minute marker as well in just that stalemate situation. And of course, when it comes down to the zone, it is going to be favoring them because this map of Sanhok always has a not always, but yes, majority of the times does always provide a support of the cover. And again, even if it does shift, it's not that big of a rotation that these teams are forced to make. But right now, this is a standard zone that is being showcased right here. And in that, we do see down towards the side of Docks, it is FS Tyrant Black Malik. This team is going to be absolutely ludicrous in terms of the play that they've been able to make. But this time around, is it going to be working in this team's favor? Freestyle is looking pretty ferocious in terms of the way that they've actually gotten themselves segregated down towards the southern side of the map, and the docks as well as of course the cave region is certainly being controlled by them. And of course on the other front, it is going to be the team who find themselves in the center. And the team that is going to be finding themselves in the center for now, of course, is going to be too easy. Of course, we did see Max D. Of course, we did see along with that Flex is also right there. So an interesting play being showcased from these teams right here in the lobby, where they have gotten themselves separated all across the map. A few select teams are going to be in contestation, but as of now, the fights are somewhat lacking. We are at the 6 minute marker pretty much, and this is the moment where it seems like Too Easy as well as Max D are going to be punishing each other. Hucker was probably spotted right there. If not, well, again, in a minute's time, I'm sure they will get the information and the push will be made with that. The first airdrop being dropped on along, and that's going to be the MK14 with level 3 kit and a ghillie suit. Ooh, that is good. The ghillie suit is good because on the map of Sanhok, indeed, that certainly does help out the team who ends up getting their hands on it, because, of course, that matches the terrain and that gives you that certain edge that you want to be able to participate. And with that, it seems like Max D is going to be falling back from the looks of it. Is that exactly what they're trying to do? No, they're not. They're not. They're still going to be around in the vicinity. They are still going to be taking a part of this fight. And of course, now is the moment around 7 minute marker, as I was talking about. It is going to be probably a fight that is going to get contested any minute now. But again, Too Easy being so very silent. Too Easy have, of course, taken on a few knocks for themselves. Not knocks, sorry, but a little bit of damage on themselves. Same can, of course, be said for Max D as well. But the knocks have not been confirmed yet. Of course, the kill is somewhat lacking. But this is what was being waited for. And it is a third-party situation coming in where it is going to be Max D's side that has been pushed on from the side of COBx. And what a play this has been against the players of Max D, and Dread has been fallen down. COBx Khan is the man who has been drawing the first blood as of now. Amazing turn of events indeed for COBx, but sad state of affairs for Max D because they were just absolutely waiting to take on the information that they had retained against the players of Too Easy and then bring them damage and control that fight. But it is going to be COBx that is going to be hunkering them down.
And now again from different direction, it is going to be Too Easy for with Fix. Just trying to fix the rotation for the sides, but sad state of affairs, I just mentioned, as now Solo Esports have tried to get the better half of it, and with one player falling down from the sides of Max D, I mean, things are not looking good. With Ecstasy getting one more knock, Solo is just not stopping. Khan is on a charge. Khan is making that knock, but how on earth that knock just came? With Hacker also going down, thanks to that Molotov at any point, at any situation. I mean, after the removal of these two players, Solo versus Too Easy 4 is the one thing that I would love to see.
Absolutely. It certainly is going to be a sandwich situation that Maddox find themselves in, and it is going to be Too Easy certainly going to be retaliating in this punishment that has been showcased. And it is, of course, Solo, the team that has turned it into an X factor against the players of Max D, and in doing so have been able to sustain 2 kills for themselves. In that, of course, Too Easy chimed in along and took 1 more kill. Thus remaining for the side of Max D is just that one man lad who is going to be Assad, and Assad now has to be careful. He's being very, very quiet. He's not giving away any information whatsoever at all, and it is going to be COBx now that are going to be moving on to try and take on a fight against the player of Too Easy themselves. And well, Too Easy, yes, they have been spotted, and now Solo Esports know exactly what compound that team is going to be in, and in doing so, Khan is the man of the hour who's been able to get those 2 kills confirmed for himself, and now is going to get greedy. He is going to get moving along. He's going to trying to get that information confirmed into a knock, into a kill for himself, and of course his team as well. But in doing so, it is going to be another team that we can see from the vicinity that has also chimed in along, and if they become a third party against the push that has been made from Solo side, this could be an amazing event.
What a game. What a fight that is erupting in the area of bootcamp with other players going down. It is certainly going to be a case where now Tifa has gone down and now Molotovs are being used. As you perfectly mentioned, there is one more team from the backhand side and that at any point, at any moment can get the better half of all these fights. With the Tifa going down, Revival is in need of the hour, but it seems that Solo Esports are on a complete charge. They are just looking to take the fight because at no point we have seen Solo Esports falling away from this fight. Rather, it was eventually Team E4 that was just trying to file themselves away from this fight, but some peppered bullets are being fired into it. The player was taking the TPP, but Mr. Fix has been fixed and has been brought down to death, as now Asad is also finding himself and has rotated initially. I mean, he was the guy that was taking all sort of slaughtering things that was going in, but since it was obviously Team Easy4 that really chimed upon, Solo Esports are in a complete role with Khan going and charging in. All the 4 players are still alive. It is just a moment where one player each from the sides of Team Easy4 and one player from the sides of Max D will be taking care of 1.5. Khan goes down. He was not able to take the better half of this player, but Yumon will Venom will make sure that he will be getting the better half of this. And with that being said, it is going to be Team Easy4 an early elimination.
Youch moment indeed, because it is going to be now Max D's final player who is going to be at the receiving end from the brutality that Solo Esports has been showcasing. And in that conversation, it is going to be Asad who will try and take a knock, but certainly will not be given that kill. And of course, Solo Esports walking away with 5 kills right off the bat in this game. 10 minutes in, this is looking absolutely wonderful turn of events for the side of Solo Esports. But will that onslaught be continued on as they have taken control of this bootcamp? But as the game progresses on along as well, the rotations that they are going to be making now are going to be so very crucial, because after all, the zone is what will make a difference in terms of what team can Solo X find as they try and make that rotation against them. But eventually, as the journey continues on, it is going to be F2D on our screens who have been able to actually be a part of a fight for themselves, and it is going to be a 1 point that is in the name of the defeat that they have been able to accumulate for now. But eventually, it's just the 11-minute marker that we find ourselves in, and there is still a lot of opportunities that are going to be placed because it is just the second zone.
Just the second zone, and as the custom suggests, we got to see some early eliminations, some early fights, and now moving down towards it may be a stalemate situation where the player from the sides of Execute has spotted down from the sides of F2D, and Knock is holding that extreme flank angle, and with that elevated small little sniper tower he's holding for the moment, it is looking good for him, but certainly not for Crown Holder. So now this is one team that started the day off at 17th position. They did falter down to 19th and then just went down towards the 17th position, and thus resulting finding themselves in a positions where they might again just be too sure if they are making the rotation, but seems that they are pretty much close to where it is going to be obviously of EV Esports, and one player has been taken down. That means the slaughtering process has started.
Absolutely has, and this is where of course we are looking at of course the crown holders right here, who are of course slowly and steadily making a rotation for themselves, and crown holders have to complete this fight for themselves. They have to be able to dominate. There's no two ways about it, because this team needs those points, and in that doing so they find themselves against the players right there, and it is going to be a fight that could very well be brought out against Flex. But will that be the case or not, we shall have to see, because they are so very close on towards the northeastern front of the zone as of now.
Exactly, it is. The circle has gone for a shift and completely dominating the area of Query, where each and every team is just finding themselves into. But for the moment, it is going to be the team that is finding themselves into it, the position of it. With UNB making a close in from the left-hand side, from the western side, it is going to be an easy task for them to make a move. With Team 38 finding themselves in a centralized position, Query, in those ridges are pretty much strong for them.
Absolutely, that is what this case seems to be, and exactly as we move on along with the game, it is going to be F2D on towards the Camp Charlie side, who are across another team as well. Will they be allowed to make that rotation? We can see from the side of F2D, Jaguar and the lad along with him are going to be trying to make a water rotation from the looks of it, whereas on the other tangent, F2D's Evil and his teammate are going to be kind of maintaining that same exact position that they find themselves eventually into, with that the third airdrop being dropped on, and this is going to have the LMG along with of course the level 3 kit that is going to be perfectly set up for a team that gets lucky as they make that rotation. Eventually, again, when we move on along with the gameplay itself, it is 13-minute marker that we have now reached from Camp Charlie. This is the team Execute right here, which was again into that vicinity that we saw F2D's players in, and eventually it is going to be F2D's players who are going to get the better half of this fight, and Arslan has been brought down to his knees, and Evil is the one who is going to be able to get that perfect spray on towards the lad and eventually bring him down and convert that into a point for himself. But that is pretty much it for now, because there is no team that is in the vicinity for this team as of the moment.
And yeah, but they will be having a safe passage into Zuna. By the looks of it, it seems so. But it seems that some impediments and roadblocks might be made for the team that was just taken down, because the rest of the player from that side is still surviving. And now Muqaddar from the sides of Team Execute is the last player standing, and he is pretty much in the closer vicinity where freestyle players are present, with Gardari finding himself on the elevated mountain, and obviously Respect into the closer vicinity. We are now heading towards that 1v1 close range fight, where it is obviously going to be of Ivy in the closer proximity of Solo Esports. Solo Esports got 5 kills, but in doing so they just lost 1 player, and now they are up against one team that is also surviving onto the 4-player side. And this is going to be a strategic fight with the momentum that they are carrying forward, with the momentum that they have come this far. It is looking good with Luffy, Bot and Venom charging in onto the player. The players are just waiting to create that opening knock, and if that happens, Solo Esports, we just saw how they just reigned supreme in the area of bootcamp. They won't be shying away to take this fight even.
Absolutely. For now, it certainly seems to be a stalemate situation that these teams find themselves in. It is going to be Solo Esports who will have to create that wonderful flank once again. As they try and do so, it is going to be Revenge IV, where we can clearly see he was able to perfectly set himself up with a nade parade, but decided not to go on along with that. It is going to be Dr. Fate who is covering the flank angle as well from that small little shack. An interesting play being showcased from these teams. Eventually, it is going to be Solo Esports' Venom who's going to be trying to bring that nade parade, and eventually, what a play that was, where Akbar was the one who got the better half of that fight, and in doing so has already been able to get that knock for his team. And Ivy looking absolutely in comfortable position for now, and it is going to be a perfect onslaught that Ivy can very well bring in. They just need to charge in along with the nade parade that, of course, Iqbal was thinking about. This is the moment, mate. This is the moment that you need to be able to dominate in, and this is where, of course, having confirmed that knock is the chance for 5e to just completely dominate, and that is exactly what they're going to be doing as they bring themselves across the windows. This is the fight that Dr. Fate was waiting for. Eventually, in doing so, he is going to be able to confirm a few damaging points, but of course a knock is not confirmed from his side. But the team is looking not so good, because it is not going to be easy for Dr. Fate as he finds himself the only man remaining. Yeah, I don't like it. Dr. Fate, dude, I honestly built it up based on the name of Dr. Fate, that he was fated for the fight. Little did I know he was fated to go down in that fight. I'm sorry, my caster's curse is real, but that will have to do for this game, especially for the side of Dr. Fate.
Exactly, that's going to be the case. But for the moment, it is going to be each and every team that are converging themselves into circle. But what a fight. I mean, Solo Esports, they are the one that are on a charge. They eliminated 2-3 teams in the area of a bootcamp, and now they are certainly the man of the moment, the team that actually needs to be talked about. And for the moment, it is again going to be obviously the team of crown holders now giving a tough challenge against UAG Tough.
Absolutely, and TUF is the team that is on the receiving end, and it is going to be crown holders who are now going to be ferociously moving on along. Blaze being the man who has been able to completely erase the lad of course, the team of TUF down to his knees, and that is going to be ESP. Now, Edgar, Thor as Virus, these are the lads who are going to have to dominate and retaliate against that kill that was given to them, but will they be allowed to do so? They are trying their level best to kind of hold their ground, but it is not going to be an easy affair because they are in the open, and crown holders are looking absolutely destructive. But do they have the information? That will be the question. Do they know exactly where their opponent team is? Yes, they were able to get that one kill, but that is not it, because again, it seems like Eraser, he should have done better, because there it is. Virus is right there. He has been able to spot the player, of course, and Eraser, being none the wiser, is going to jump into the compound, and Virus gets the better half of this. But eventually, again, it is just the information that he's been able to retain. As of now, as the game progresses on along, he is, of course, going to get that information relayed over to his teammates. But will there be a fight that we can see from the side of TUF? On the other tangent, it is going to be the side of Freestyle taking a fight for themselves, as well as Frost right now, as we can clearly see coming in to the action against the players of UNB.
It is indeed going to be the case, but for the moment, Virus completely away. But slowly and steadily, Solo Esports are marching their way along to the players of crown holders, and all of a sudden, 2 players have brought 2 players down from the sides of crown holders, and this is again looking good. They are looking completely gobsmackingly well, and they are just trying to dominate the lobby, and in doing so, they have already taken one more player down, and within a blink of an eye, is it one more squad elimination. There it is. Crown Holder has faltered on, but in doing so, obviously 2 players have been lost from the sides of Solo Esports, and that is going to be Khan and Venom. But still, they have gotten the 10 important kill points, and thus resulting the 10 points in the early stage of the game. The circle has made a shift, and that has gone towards the eastern side of the circle, and that eventually means that it is going to be Team 138 that into the central line of the circle, and UAG Tough, that were really looking tough for the moment, are still looking tough, as now they are finding on the eastern side of the circle, with Solo Esports also getting a favor of the circle. 2 players, they still have a chance to dominate the lobby as they have dominated in the past.
Absolutely. TUF, we have seen this team again and again being so very comfortable in terms of these sort of fights. Edgar with Thor have been absolutely ferocious, but this time around was not the case. And again, it was Solo Extreme Esports that dropped this team of incredible play that was being showcased from the side of course, Crown Holders, down to their knees and sent them back into the lobby. So amazing turn of affairs from the side of course, Solo Esports. But as the game progresses on along, we can clearly see F2D is also chiming into the action with that 8 teams remaining. We're 20 minutes into this game. An absolute crazy affair is being showcased from all across the board in the lobby, wherein the kill feed is going all across the place. F2D is certainly chiming in, FS has been chiming in, but when it comes to the zone, which side is the zone going to be? And talk about the kill feed, it is going to be ZARAR bringing in some kills for themselves as well.
Black is again surviving. This time it is going to be the map of Sanhok. Last time it was Erangel. Black is still surviving, and Gardari goes down. Malik is still on to the backhand side. That means the team really need all these revivals, but in all these thicks and thins, there is a lot of roadblocks that is still waiting for them. Talking about roadblocks, it is going to be a tough challenge for F2D to get on the onslaught, but the moment they eject themselves along from the RV, it is going to be the ZARAR from the backhand side that has already brought 2 players down, with Edgar also bringing a lot of cover fire and firepower from the right hand side. It is a tough challenge for F2D to survive, and they won't be surviving as now Evil has fallen down. He's still surviving, 20 HP, and Jaguar onto the backhand side. Malik is still onto the blues, and he will be taken care of as Shamir brings a final nail in the coffin.
Absolutely. Team 138 also bringing in some kills for themselves as they try and gatekeep the situation. 7 teams remaining right here, right across this compound of course, Team 138 is the player of F2D right there, Evil, who has been knocked sadly. Of course, as soon as this team pushes on along ZARAR, they are going to be trying to dominate against the players of Team 138, and this is where Team 138 needs to bring in that synergistic play for themselves. Otherwise, it is a ZARAR domination from the looks of it, where just Cronus as well as Sirius are the 2 players who have been absolutely been pincering down teams from this side of the compound. Of course, it was F2D at the few initial moments, and now it is going to be 138. No, that is not going to be the case, because it seems like ZARAR, Sirius and Cronus have moved away from the fight, and they are now going to be taking the fight to another team altogether.
Jaguar, the man of the moment, he's still surviving from the sides of F2D. Will he be able to dent a big blow onto the sides of UNBNF? We have to still wait and see, but for the moment, it is him that is still surviving, and with the help of that Rich, he's just trying to take up the fight. With Shamir still surviving from the backhand side, the 3 players are just trying to take the fight, but the circle is slowly and steadily constricting. We are heading towards the 22 minutes of the circle, and we still are left with 16 teams and 6 players alive. The correction it is, now there are just 16 and 15. It just keeps decreasing, as now ZARAR are on the onslaught, but it seems that domination mode is where Shamir will be standing. But Team 38, they are really giving a big challenge to multiple teams out here.
They most certainly are. They are reigning supreme with all 4 players surviving, and as they push on along, it is going to be a B right there with only 20 HP remaining on himself, but it is going to be UNB's players also that are going to be bringing themselves a little bit of that kill department. As they do so, they are going to be caught alongside that flow, and that is going to be, well, of course, none other than Team 138. So 138 are playing their level best. It is going to be 2 players remaining. Just a few minutes ago, of course, they had all 4 players surviving, but as they got into the fight itself, now it is going to be Troner and a B. An interesting play that is being showcased from the side of Team 138, but below them is going to be F2D's Jaguar, and in front of them, of course, UNB's 2 players have been knocked. 3rd player will be knocked, where Trono, the placement from this lad is so very good in the watchtower. That is working perfectly in this dude's favor, and of course, for this fight, for the side of Team 138, they're sitting at 9 kills, and as soon as these kills are confirmed from the side of Trono, these can be multiplied into 12.
Solo Esports are coming in from the backhand side, and certainly the 12 can be increasing in terms the way they are taking the fight, and this is down to obviously the 3 teams standing, but Troner on to the receiving end, and now Luffy has bring 1 more knock, and he's trying to bring 1 more. He has done and completely bamboozled the lobby, and obviously with that, 138 leaves the lobby. Solo Esports 2 players are still surviving, and they are just hunting for the last player alive. Jaguar is the last man alive, just 1 first aid. It seems that it will be a game end for sure, but he is trying to make a move into the circle at 10, 20, 40 HP. He's survived for the moment, but he will fall short as now Solo bot from the sides of the team that got the chicken. 138 is the team that is the man of the moment. They are reigning supreme, and what a game for themselves. Eventually, in the last game itself, they were looking pretty strong. This game, right off the go, when they just stepped out in this match, it was a complete annihilation in the area of boot camp. Wherever they were just going, they were creating a rubble and ruckus, and in doing so, resulting is where they have gotten obviously 15 kill points, making a total of 30, 1725 damage. This was certainly a game to watch for this Sanhok.
True. Such a perfect play this was. Absolutely incredible turn of events indeed that turned out from this game, and eventually it was Solo Esports that were reigning in supreme from the first fight itself, that they tried to chime in along against the players of Maddox, and as they progressed on along from one fight to the next, they were in control. Of course, they lost 2 of their players in doing so, but eventually, what a perfect play is what was showcased from the side of Solo Esports. With that, we are going to be looking on to the MVP, the most valuable player coming in from this game, and we shall have to see who is going to be reigning in supreme. It is none other than Solo Esports' Luffy right here with 8 kills, 3 assists in 22 minutes of survival time. Amazing turn of events for the lad with 825 damage that he was able to dish out. Beautiful play from Solo Esports this time around.
What a game for Luffy. Talk about his performance, talk about his skill numbers. Healing done just 118, but survival time is certainly the thing that he's really made it possible. 825 damage, a good conversion of kills, and a damage is what he was able to do so, and 3 assists is also what makes him the X factor, and the most valuable title obviously goes to him. But on the other tangent, it was some other good performance. Talk about Shamir's, talk about Troner, and both the players from the side of Team 38 and also Farhan. So Team 138 was just looking too good until and unless Solo Bot was the one that really took care of him.
Absolutely, and these are the top players coming in from the list. As we move on across, it is going to be the time to look at the match summary, where Solo Esports' Luffy with the highest kill as well as the highest damage is going to be part of it, as well as of course the maximum assist right there at the end. But it is TUF's Edgar with the longest distance, along with Solo Esports' Bot with 6 utilities, the most utilities on the map of Sanhok.
Complete domination. If we talk about the kill numbers, if we talk about assists, if we talk about utilities, everywhere Solo Esports players are just stepping up and just featuring, and thus resulting themselves getting a 15 kill chicken. A total of 30 points will be obviously helping and solving their course in finding themselves in the top 14, and in doing so it was also 138 with the getting a total of 22 total points. F2D follows them next with 15. So a lot of teams that really was not looking good in the last match, in the last game itself, have now shined upon. With ZARAR Esports getting a total of 9 points, they were certainly the team to look out for.
Absolutely were, and what a phenomenal turn of events it is for the side of these teams. Eventually, as we move on to the second page, it was MaxD Esports right here who did try and reign in supreme, but eventually of course were hunkered down. Crown holders also tried their level best in terms of the plays that they were making, but what an incredible flow it was for the teams that were on the first page with the first top 3. Just amazing turn of events where Solo Esports were part of so many fights. I mean, they were the ones who brought down Max D right here. Of course, with crown holders is where they moved on to. Alongside all of these wonderful memories, let's absolutely have a look at them as well through the Oppo F19 Pro moments that are going to be brought on. And this is where the first fight was showcased, and it was none other than, of course, Solo Esports Luffy that was making things count for himself. And as the fight progressed on along, Solo Esports certainly moved on to completely dominate against the players of Maxi, and this is when Khan was lost in the first few minutes of the game itself, but that did not deter the domination force that is in part of Solo Esports.
Neither did they shy away from taking any of the fight, but then it was an all easy task for Solo Esports. They looked at it so easy because eventually it was Ivy that was really giving a tough fight, and then it was a landing from the sides of Jaguar that was the one player surviving from the sides of F2D, and he really got those important placement points. But then it was a time where Team 138 was slowly and steadily were taken down, and thanks to that onslaught that came in from the sides of Luffy, the man in the form that just got the MVP, and this last man from the sides of F2D, Jaguar, really made it look possible for them to get all those placement points and thus find themselves in a good positioning. When talking about positioning, it is where UAG Tough are getting closer and closer towards the 200 mark, but still on the 167, and that's pretty much unfathomable, unreachable for any other team, with UNB NF making also a jump onto the top. Now slowly and steadily they are just trespassing with the passing of each gameplay.
Absolutely, and from that, as you move on to the next page of the overall, we shall see what sort of a play has been made, as was discussed earlier as well. Top 14 are the teams that we are going to be keeping an eye out for, because 2 teams have been invited into the finals in this region. And when it comes to the top 14, we are looking at Team Star being on that perfect spot, but below them is going to be ZARAR, who have been absolutely penciling down complete domination from this team again and again. And this final game, they are 4 points shy to get themselves to be a part of the finals itself. And the regional finals are where these teams are going to be trying to get the best play showcased as well, because, well, there's a lot of money at stake, yes, but along with that, when it comes down to the opportunity of getting to have a slot in PMPL Season 4, well, who would not want to participate in an opportunity that big?
Exactly, and in doing so, everyone is giving that fierce competition. Talk about the back-to-back chicken. I mean, the day started with ZARAR with 2 back-to-back chicken, but they are still finding themselves at the 15th position. One bad game. I mean, the margin is so less. Teams like F2D, Golden Star, Solo Esports are finding themselves in a fortified position, and with ZARAR Esports 4 points away from where Team Stars are positioning, they really need to take all these points. But in doing so, we still have one more game left, and that is going to be of the Erangel. But certainly Freestyle have got a downward jump, and now it is looking still not impossible, still doable, but it's still looking critical in terms of the total points that they're positioning, because at 16 are where they are positioning with a total of 80 points, and they really need all these 16 to 17 points at least, and hoping so that the other teams that are still on the 14th and 13th do not perform as best as they have started doing so.
Well, again, we shall see what the final game is going to bring into the table. That's going to be on Erangel. But before we jump into that, it is time to go on a short little break. We're going to be right back. Stick around.
Here we go now.
Are you keeping it real? I'm calling shotgun, wanna see my baby run. Oh, what's the word on the sea? Kicking up the dust, if you know what I mean. We got a good thing going. We got a good thing going on.
Hello and welcome once again to PUBG Mobile Club Open 2021. This is of course the Pakistan region where we're at, and in that we have one final game to take care of. That will be on Erangel, and with all of that taken care of, we will know which are the top 14 teams that are going to be moving into the finals, the regional finals next week. But right now it is time to move on along with the show, and let's have a look at the schedule where Erangel is going to be brought on now.
That means maybe one more chicken for ZARAR, because they really needed at the start of the day. They got just 2 chicken back to back, and then just one faltering down. We're talking about margin. The margin is pretty less, and now they are finding themselves at the 15th position. Just the pretty much, I mean, the points are still same.
Right?
Yeah, just the 4 points is what they are lagging with, and they will be looking to get. I mean, just the 4 points. If they secure at the start of the game 4 kill points, that's where they will be making and go for the qualification. But this is not going to be an easy task, as now Freestyles are also the one team that I will have my eyes set upon. What sort of strategies, what sort of X factor are they going to be coming up with?
Absolutely. I mean, FS Malik and the likes, they have been really phenomenal as well. There's nothing separating them from top tier teams, of course, and that is a top tier team that I'm talking about. But yep, now it's time to find out if ZARAR, the 4 point shy that they are from that 14th position, will they be able to get that? Well, the way that they've been showcasing the classy plays today, it is going to be a walk in the park. Should be a walk in the park for them. But let's find out. Let's jump right into the game and get the flight path flowing on our screens.
It is from the area, obviously from the sides. It seems that, yep, Stolber is the area where the flight path is already on its way, and downtown towards the area of Primos, the flight path is completely dissecting the map into 2 equal halves. That means the team that love to go towards the area of Georgiapol and towards also different areas apart from military base, but still it's glidable, because we get to see all those vehicles spawn near those NHS, around those ferry piers and those 6 houses. And is that going to be the case? Teams will be looking to get hand over that. But in the last game itself, in the game of Erangel, we saw Max D jumping in towards the area of obviously Pachinki. Will be finding themselves again. If not, we'll get to see what sort of strategies do they have for this last game itself. But for the moment, Yasnaya Poliana is where it seems that 2 colored parachutes are heading and marking their way, as now it is gonna be obviously Frost that is slowly and steadily going towards the same area. And there is one more team. There is one more team in the same vicinity, but Severny is where ZARAR is finding, and completely away the drop location. This time it is going to be for themselves.
Absolutely, it is going to be all to themselves. There's absolutely no other team to give them that contestation. But again, it'll be based on the rotation that they make, based on what zone will be drawn, what sort of a circle are we going to be able to see, and where are the teams going to be forced when it comes down to the circle constricting and the zone restricting. It is going to be, of course, all in good time. For now, the game has just started, where the teams are just getting themselves acclimated. We do see the zone finally being drawn on along, and it is going to be towards the western front, of course. But for now, of course, it is a very standardized circle as well, because the teams are going to be able to get into the comfort of the zone, no problem whatsoever for any of the teams for the moment. But this is just a few moments, initial moments of the game getting started, and Too Easy find themselves in the vicinity of another team, and I think I just glimpsed it was Max D. Yes, it is Max D Esports, and this is not the kind of play that they would have wanted, because last time also it was a contestation between them, and this time around it is going to be the same sort of affair or not. We shall see.
Time of vengeance. Is it the time of vengeance? They must be seeking to seek those redemptions and those revenge going on, because last time it was them joined with one more team, and that time it was Solo Esports. Thankfully this time is not going to be the Solo Esports. That
but
means
what if what if it does become that sort of a deja vu, that Solo Esports comes in, and then that is going to be a perfect rivalry where it might just be Too Easy as well as Max D chiming their efforts together to take care of Solo Esports, because they're not going to be happy with what happened in the previous game, Ankit.
That can be the case. That can be the case, because they were taking the fight, they were enjoying the fight, they were in a formation, but all of a sudden they were like, what sort of strategy now what when we need to do it? But for the moment it is going to be Mr. Fix that is fixing, but Sad surviving on a sliver of an HP has taken down Mr. Fix for the moment, and all of a sudden the tides are changing, as now Too Easy for Khalifa is on a run with the help of Dashia. Now the revival is going to be the case, but it seems that Asad has also dealt a lot of damage, thus resulting himself patching up, and the breathing space and the space will be killed. In doing so, it is going to be all 4 players from the sides of Team Easy 4 that will be again standing on the field, but that knock on the sliver of an HP was the real moment for me. And now the revival is going to be the case. 7-8 seconds will be taken in, and then the 7 seconds to actually heal himself up, and then they will be good to go.
Absolutely, and the fight has started taking on, but of course the kill has not been confirmed for now. It is going to be too easy going up against Max D, where indeed Max D's Asad was so on point. I mean, that was just absolute precision to the center of the forehead, and that is what precision was so showcased from the side of Asad. He certainly was left with a sliver of an HP, but eventually he got that knock. The kill sadly has not been confirmed as of now, but they are not going to be moving away from this situation or this fight. For now, it is going to be Khalifa who finds himself on top of the building and is going to be working towards getting the information for himself, as well as, of course, the team of Too Easy on the other front. It is going to be Hacker from Max D who is going on to a completely different approach altogether. Is he trying to get into the main school building? Not entirely sure what his play is here, but it is also Dread who is also falling back. Interesting play being showcased from the side of Max D, where two players are still here, Asad and Rex, trying to bust from maybe they're going out to get themselves a vehicle or something, but for now, it is going to be, well, a bit of a stalemate situation that these teams find themselves. There's not a lot of information that has been showcased from either of the sides. Of course, Too Easy maintaining their position, but how was Too Easy not able to see Hacker? There we go. Hacker should have been able to be spotted, but it is going to be Hacker who shall get the better half of that wonderful placement that Tiva found himself in, but sadly will not be allowed to stay there forever. And in doing so, it is going to be Asad now with the VSS is absolutely going to be pinching down the heads of Too Easy as soon as they try and get themselves onto the roof.
Indeed, it is going to be but Mr. Fake's location is also being revealed in doing so, and he is the one that is getting a lot of info. Talk about his position, talk about Hacker's position. It seemed that now Team Too Easy for are being completely outplayed. Last time it was Lost Esports that really spoiled the party, but this time it is Max D with all those positioning. Eventually, this was the team that brought the first knock, and thankfully that revival was the case. But again, this time there was no sort of revival, as now Zayed goes down, but on a different tangent. It is going to be Solo Esports Luffy taking the fight. In this very early stage of the game, the team is looking pretty decent at the moment, but now it is a charge in approach with which Max D are charging upon to the player, but Khalifa is holding the important apartments, but it seems that it's not a charge, but rather they are falling away. But Frost Claus has gone down with Brown taking the fight. It is not going to be an easy task, and all these fights are actually erupting in the early stage of the game in the area of Yasnaya Polan, and Brown was just surviving on the sliver of an HP, but as soon as he finds a way, it is going to be bot that will be taken care of.
Absolutely. Brown also not looking too good because Solo has been in control of this fight. I mean, talk about Solo Esports. We were trying to see if they would bring themselves in a third-party situation in the previous fight, but it seems like they were busy in a different fight of their own altogether towards the Yasnaya region, and in that they have been able to lose. They have lost one of the players, that's going to be Khan, but the fight is yet not done because they're going to be pushing on to take on the onslaught to the forefront of Frost indeed, and in that conversation it is going to be for Frost to answer, I was going to say, but it has been confirmed that they will not be allowed to do so, wherein Solo Esports will certainly be getting all those 4 kills. An interesting play being showcased from the side, and it is, well, right off the bat in the first 6 minutes of the game itself, this team accumulating 4 points in the name of the kills.
Exactly, and Luffy strong at this moment with the help of Thompson. He is really charging upon to the players and have charged and resulting in a complete squad elimination. 2 kills is what he stands for the moment, but certainly Khan has missed the mark, and with the help of Bot, Venom and Luffy, the team will be playing for the rest of the match. But what a start Solo Esports has got in the last game itself. This was a team that really got a high fragging chicken, and in this game itself, the team are now looking slowly and steadily making a move. Yasnaya Polan is where they're standing, and now they are sitting on the edge of the circle. I guess for the next 5 or 6 minutes, they will be happily looting all these compounds and all these areas, and then might go towards the center line of the circle or still on the edge of the circle, as we just got to see. But certainly, what a game that of a start. I mean, they are just really carrying the momentum from the last game itself, and all these spots were really important for them in order to get and find themselves in the top, obviously 14, because at the end of the day, those are the ones that will be finding the slot for those finals. But for the moment, again, it is going to be Solo Esports that will have their first objective as to loot as much as they can and then maybe go in the circle.
Absolutely. This team is slowly but surely looking destructive. This team slowly but certainly are converting fights into their favor. Previous game, they did the exact same. This time around, the same sort of momentum is being showcased in the first few minutes of the game that are once again in their favor. Yes, they've lost Khan, but they have been able to get 4 points for themselves in Team I-38 right there. Shamar, getting caught in the buggy in the rotation, but that's absolutely fine. Of course, the other team is in the vicinity, so they are going to be able to get themselves acclimatized to driving the buggy, hopefully, and get themselves away from that region itself into a safety of the compound, as well as, of course, the zone. For now, ZARAR Esports, everybody's eye on this team. Everybody's eye on this team. Why? Because they have been so ferocious today. They were nowhere close to the 14th team marker, but 14th placement marker, but have found themselves doing so perfectly based on the first 2 games of the day. So it is certainly going to be a conversation where now ZARAR only 4 points shy of that 14th position. What sort of a playstyle are they going to be working towards? Will they just be absolute behemoths as they have been in the first 2 games of the day, like they showcased themselves on Erangel? Or are they going to just try and get those 4 to 5 points and call it a win and GG? Or again, will it be another team that will try and stop ZARAR in their tracks as they try and work towards those 4 points? As of now, it is going to be Team Too Easy, who have lost 2 of their lads already, and they are going to be trying to pinch it down. The rotation coming in from the side of Crown Holders. For now, there has been not confirmed for them. Again, I mean, Team Too Easy, they have just 2 players, but look at the audacity of this team, trying to charge on with just 2 players against the team that is making a rotation, and that is none other than Crown Holders. An interesting synergistic play, I guess, is what they're hoping for right here, but they better be careful, because it is going to be Crown Holders. If they stop with the 4-man advantage that they have against the 2-man team of course, the Too Easy, it is going to be tough situation that Too Easy might find themselves in.
That can be the case. That certainly can be the case, because 2 men surviving, I mean, these sort of shots can eventually help you in order to cut off the rotation. But just imagine if the player backfires them and does decide to take the vengeance and try to pin them down. It can be certainly a tough situation, because 2v4 is certainly way more tough in order to take down the players. But till now, it is a safe entry, a safe passage for freestyles. Obviously, we have been talking about these teams really need all these 15-16 points from this match, and in doing so, they really need at least chicken and some really important kill points. If not, they will be in the precarious position. They are still in the limbo and the cataclysm, and they really need to come out of these 6 and 10s. And if that is the case, it seems that now Tyrant is finding with that flank angle, with the safe compounds he is finding themselves into. The players are not ready to take the fight in the early stages again. Rather, they are positioning themselves in a good strategized location, and that is certainly where freestyles can really bloom upon. But moving on to that, we just saw the rotation was made from the sides of Crown Holders, and now they're finding themselves on the southern side of the Mount Everest that we get to see around the area of Georgopol. And now it is should be a strategic push, because UAG are already standing above them.
Absolutely, UAG are looking in a very perfect position onto this potato hill, but Crown Holders are not done. Crown Holders certainly won the potato for themselves, and the hill is what is favoring UAG. But eventually, when it comes down to the playstyle that Crown Holders do like to dominate in, it is going to be destructive, it is going to be aggressive. But will they be allowed to bring in that sort of an onslaught against the players of UAG? For now, it is just the information game that they are working on, and the information certainly has been relayed to both of these teams as to where they are. Edgar getting a little bit of that spray being showcased from the side of course, CH. But Crown Holders, they are holding their horses tight right here. They are holding the rein again with the positioning that they've been able to sustain. It is looking like they might just be able to get the better half of this fight, but we shall see what sort of a play style will UAG be moving on along with. We do see TUF Thor on the back tangent, and again, if that sort of a flank can be created from him, it is something that, of course, we just saw Blaze. He knows exactly what is going to be up with the flank angle, and he was checking exactly that same spot indeed. And Blaze is keeping an eye, a very keen eye, towards that sort of a factor that can be brought on from the side of TUF.
But sadly, it's the Tifa that is only surviving. We're talking about courage. We're talking about the playing style of Team Easy4. They have completely shown that whatever be the numbers, be it be 1, be it be 3, or the complete squad, they are looking up to take the fight, because now they are trying to pin down the players of Team Execute. It is Tifa 1v1 against one player from the sides of Team Execute that is just trying to burn him down, but rather to take the damage with the help of that lead. Arsalan made sure that he will be churned down to death and burned down to death, and before that happens, it was his AKM that really made it look so easy and possible for them, and with that, it was an elimination for Team Execute, but for Team Easy4. But certainly some kills have been awarded to Team Execute, but ZARAR on the other hand side, they need all these placement points, and they are playing the slow approach. You remember they dropped down towards the area of Severny, and till now they haven't been a part of any fight that we got to see, and since the circle is taking the course course of ruins, it seemed that the circle had tended to shift away on the northeastern side or onto the central northern side, and that can be the case where ZARAR Esports can really have a good time. But for the moment, the man of the moment, the team of the hour that we need to look about, that is obviously going to be of UAG, that are now pinning down the players of Team 138.
Well, what exactly were the team 138 thinking, jumping in onto the potato hill without even checking their flanks or without checking the angles, and in doing so, they've lost one of their players, and that's going to be, well, not going to be the play that of course Team 138 wanted, but eventually again they will be able to make that rotation away from this entirety of the area, and they will be looking pretty okay for now as they get themselves in the safety of this warehouse. They did lose a B right there, but it's okay because, well, it was not the kind of play that is expected from these teams. And again, I mean, the lad Abib was maybe trying to get into that area to give that cover to the teammates or to his teammates, but was sadly brought down to his knees. TUF getting the better half of that fight and getting the point for themselves. And now we move on to Solo Esports, the three-man army taking on the players of UNB. And UNB have the nade parade set up perfectly, and in doing so, this is going to be a tricky affair from the side of Solo Esports as to what exactly can they do, because they are caught off guard. They are in a small little house, and that house is being naded upon from one side and the next, and it is going to be UNB who are reigning in supreme with those perfectly set up nades. It is going to be Luffy taking a lot of damage from that nade, but eventually it seems like Max D is going to help them out in this one. It is Solo Esports that last time around brought in that third party situation against the players of Max D, but narrow Sanhok now. It is going to be Erangel where Max T will be helping Solo Esports, and Solo Esports will be stealing those kills away. What a perfect play this is turning out to be.
Indeed, it is going to be. The grenade is being pulled down onto the same area that UNB players are finding himself into, and now Solo Luffy is just trying to take the fight. It seems that he is trying to take the fight for the moment, and he will be taking the fight as now Max D from the backhand side. They know that there is one more team into the same vicinity, and the small little HUD is certainly working into the favor of Solo Esports, and that resulting in 5 kills is what they are standing for the moment. And not only that, Asad is also having his eyes set upon onto different tangent. There's a UNB player, Deadshot, has been brought to just sliver of an HP, but in doing so, there are a lot of other team that needs to be taken care of, and Asad brings the final nail in the coffin as now UNBNF leaves the lobby for one final time, and they are eliminated at 11th spot with just 1 kill.
Absolutely, but the fight between these two teams is not done. The rivalry that was created from the previous game is certainly going to push on to Erangel as well, and this is going to be Solo Esports against the players of Max D, and this nade that is being paraded from the side of Luffy could be the one that can bring in annihilation for the side of Max D, but we shall have to see if that will be the case or not. Yes, it is. Rex goes down, Max D off to a tangent, off to a back step right here, where indeed a solo open push is what is going to be required, and that is exactly what they were going for, where indeed that is the only position that was possible for them, and that is what they will do. Luffy along with Bot are going to be making that charge and are going to be trying to dominate against the players. They will be bringing another player down. It is going to be just one final player that's going to be a Sard left, but only for a second. With that, just perfect, precise play was required from there, and it is Solo Esports that have just completely dominated against the push brought in from the side of Max D. I mean, they should have been thankful, and that is them thanking the team of Max D. That thank you so much for, of course, not allowing us to move all back into the lobby, and that is just a very awesome play being showcased. But as the journey continues on, TUF still find themselves on the top of that potato hill and are just completely pincering down teams who find themselves in the vicinity, and that's going to be now Ivy.
When UAG have been holding this ground for the last 10 minutes or so, just completing their loots in the early stage of the game, and now pinning down the players. Any team is, if they are trying to come in the closer vicinity, they are being peppered and hounded with a lot of leads coming in from the side of Thor, or be it be Edgar, or be it be Virus, and the last player still surviving. And it seems that Virus is pretty much close to where the players from the sides of IV Sports are positioned, and now Fate is getting a back shot from the side. You just cannot show the back, and this is one bad move that can eventually pull 6 feet down for the Smarts, and now he is being pulled down with the players falling short. It is seemingly looking good for the teams of UAG to get close to the chicken, but onto different tangent. It is also Freesize that is playing it so passively, playing it so actively, and still finding themselves with all the 4 players alive. This is one good game that Freestyle really wanted.
Absolutely, they certainly are trying their level best, but look at on the kill department itself, it is just Solo Esports completely domination with just that one final player remaining from them. They have 9 kills already confirmed. We've got 8 teams remaining in the 18-minute marker of this game, where it is going to be TUF who have been reigning supreme from the top of that potato hill, slowly but surely bringing in kills for themselves. They've got 4 kills as of now, all 4 players looking absolutely perfect, but it is ZARAR in the kill feed taking on the fight against Rex.
Exactly, I mean, the fight is still on, and ZARAR still all 4 players are they're looking absolutely phenomenal at the moment, and now they are going for the rotation, but the contestation is still on, as now Crown Holder are just not moving an inch behind their fortified area where they're finding themselves for the moment, as now Eraser is leading the charge with Cruel OP and Blaze getting the backhand side. It is looking tough for both the teams to actually get that defended, but certainly no other team have aggressed forward in order to take the players down, but certainly now is the time where utilities will be used, but with no success whatsoever, as now Blaze is up for the charge with all the 4 players alive from the sides of Crown Holder. This is certainly not looking good, and now Virus is in that heat of the situation where grenades and utilities will be constantly used, and just trying to bring at least one more knock, but EV on different tangent has been knocked down from the sides of Crown Holders. That means Crown Holders are also getting those important placement points. But talking about these fights, I mean, look at the strategized way the players are slowly and steadily marching towards them. Virus is pretty much close towards Blaze out, and Blaze will be taking care of him, as now Virus goes down, and also from the backhand side Thor has gone down, and all of a sudden it seems that the fire is falling for UAG.
Well, for UAG, this is not looking too good, because the 2 players that are remaining, they are trying their level best, but their heads are being popped against when it comes down to Crown Holders, and it is going to be Crown Holders at the receiving front, where TUF Edgar is the man of the hour who will try and dominate, and in doing so, they have not lost a single player. They're just waiting for those revivals, and as soon as those revivals are confirmed for them, it is going to be once again TUF on top of that fountain. They are not wanting to let go of the potato hill on the other front. It is going to be Team 138 who are trying to bring in the players of BYP Esports as they make that rotation, but eventually when you talk about the circle, the zone itself, it is favoring I-38, as the compound in there is theirs for the taking, and they're going to have to be very, very careful against the players of the entire lobby, because, well, they are wanting to keep that compound in their favor, but there are 6 teams in total that are remaining. Right now we do have F2D who are trying to take on the players of FS, and it is Tyrant who is stuck in that buggy, will not be able to move, or, well, no, he finally is moving. Yep, I thought he was not a part of the game. Eventually he is, but sadly it is not going to be the case for long, because F2D have their crosshairs set up spot on and will most certainly be trying to get that kill confirmed for themselves.
Exactly, kill confirmation is certainly going to be case for F2D, as Kashan is getting the one important kill, but Malik onto this wing, and it seems that now Shamid has spotted him down. At any point he can be brought down. Before that happens, it is going to be ZARAR's Kronos that has brought an important knock for his teammates, and now Black is falling, and it seems that Freestyles are also losing this battle in all this doing. So now they're finding themselves in this small little hut, and smokes are being constantly used just in order to not give a amount of position points for the moment. But ZARAR onto different tangent is getting a lot of shot from the backhand side. They need to watch the back. They need to watch the back, because it's Gardari, it's Black, it's STFU that can actually pin them down, but it's ZARAR again was on the domination mode.
Absolutely, right now it is Freestyle who are trying to slowly but surely move on along into the arena, where ZARAR find themselves into the smoke. It is going to be 5 teams remaining. ZARAR with 3 players alive. 4 kills have already been confirmed for themselves, and in that conversation they are going to be pushing on to the remaining players of F2D, and as they do so, it is going to be an interesting affair, because one side is going to be the team on the back end side, it is going to be the side of Freestyle. So an interesting play that ZARAR need to make, otherwise they are most certainly going to be sandwiched. F2D being so very quiet, not moving whatsoever at all. An interesting showcase of perfect domination from the side of course, UAG right now, because that team is now pincering down the teams right here and are going to be bringing in some third parties for themselves. Wow.
They are making it really tough for the other teams to survive the moment. With ZARAR moving forward, it is going to be Vaz that is the man of the moment, and making sure that Knock will be taken care of, as now Bonga is the one man to survive in the same situation. With Kronos still surviving, it is pretty much doable for him, as now Evil is looking strong at this moment, but for how long, that is going to be the question, as now Evil is in the same vicinity with Bonga and Kronos. Do the player know that it is one player surviving from the side of Evil that's still surviving, and he is not still being taken care of, as now Vaz is slowly and steadily making a move, but before that happens, it is the Kronos, the more wiser one, that will will be taking care of it, and he is on the domination mode with 3 kills for the moment. 10 kill is what TUF has secured for the moment, and they have certainly eliminated F2D Esports, and we are jumping straight into the 23-minute of the circle, which Freestyle is still surviving. 0 kill is what they are standing for the moment, and they are just playing for those placement points. But Vaz being on the onslaught moment, they won't be let Freestyle survive for long.
Exactly, they most certainly are not going to allow that. It is going to be UAG in the crosshairs of Team 138, and as 138 have the perfect circle edge of the circle working in their favor, they are going to be trying to dominate against the players that are rotating, and that's going to be none other than ZARAR's team. And as they do so, ZARAR's Vaz will be sent back, and it is going to be just 2 players remaining, where it is Cronus, and Cronus is also in the crosshairs of Team 138's Farhan, and it is looking absolutely destructive play that the Team 138 is bringing. It is going to be Bongo right now, where Toronto as well as Shamar are certainly going to be keeping their eyes out towards. We've got 4 teams remaining. 5 kills is what Team 138 have been able to accumulate for now, but it is not looking too good for Toronto because he does not have a first aid kit. He just has 5 bandages, and that is pretty much it. But thankfully his teammates around him are going to be absolutely covering for him and are going to be trying to put on that relentless defense against the teams that are remaining in the lobby.
Look at the split with which Freestyles are moving into the circle. Black on one different diametrically opposite side, and the other team is on completely different side of where he is for the moment, and Malik is the one that is surviving in the closer proximity, where 138 team is standing at this moment, and it seems that now it is going to be a stalemate situation. But no, stalemate is not the answer, is not the question, because ZARAR is on a move. ZARAR is on a roll as Bonga is now hunting down the players, and on a different tangent it is also going to be UAG that is coming in closer from the western side of the map. And now Malik, it seems that he has been spotted down, but Bonga is more wise one, that he's just giving away a lot of shots onto the players, but he's making sure that once Malik comes out in the open, and at that point it will be a sure shot knock, and he will be taking care of it. And that doing so, it is one more exclusive drop falling into this lap of obviously ZARAR Esports player, and Bonga really have a good chance to get overhand onto them.
Absolutely. For now, it is Team 138 who have certainly been not able to move whatsoever, or rather not deciding to move whatsoever at all, because they do know that ZARAR's players are right here on the other front. It is 138's Farhan who is going to be taking on a fight, but as soon as he does, as soon as he extends himself to the other teams in the lobby, it is going to be Bonga who will once again try and dominate and not allow him to take those kills, because ZARAR know that these kills are theirs for the taking, and that is exactly the message that they're sending to the entirety of the lobby. And Bonga right here, he is the man who has so much of information. He is so on point when it comes to those sprays, is absolutely precise every single time, and that is something you have to commend the lad for. But for how long can they keep this onslaught being brought on, because eventually 22 meters away is where ZARAR find themselves in.
Exactly, 22 meters is what they have to travel for the moment, and with Cronus getting the cover of the scoop R, which they can certainly come into the favor with Team 138, all the 3 players coming into the circle. It is now that URG are showing the urgency, and this urgency can be punished with a lot of brute force, as now the players are going down. And there we go, Farhan goes down from the sides of 138, and now UAG are on a roll, and in doing so, it is going to be Bonga that was just hiding himself behind this tree trunk is now enjoying the party.
Well, he's just bringing down knocks again and again and again. It is going to be Farhan once again who's been brought down to his knees. It is going to be Team 138 that needs that revival from his teammate, and it's going to be Toronto, the only teammate who is remaining, because Shamar is not looking to be able to give that revival himself because his health is so very low. But in that conversation, it is looking like Bonga from the side of ZARAR is going to be destructive in the way that he's playing this game right here. He has gotten so many knocks, so much damage that he's been able to dish out. 6 kills confirmed for him, and on the other front, when it comes down to his teammate, Cronus is being so very quiet. It is only Bonga from the side of ZARAR who is taking on the fights, and it is Cronus who is going to be his cover fire in the open. But it seems like that's not the case. He will spot the player and he will bring him down, and Toronto has been dealt with. It is going to be 2 players remaining for the side of Team 138, and Cronus now certainly trying to, well, give the onslaught to the players of 138, but ZARAR, Bongo as well as Cronus are now moving on in towards the zone itself. 3 teams remaining. We do have FS in the vicinity with just that one final player surviving with 0 kills. Placement is what that team, of course, is working for.
The interesting part is that before the circle goes for the shift, till now every and each team till now was holding the edge of the circle, but now the circle with the shift will certainly be favoring one team and will disadvantaging team the other one. But certainly the circle has gone in the open. That means each and every team have to make a move into the zone. But one thing, Styles Malik is still surviving and he is going for the placement points. Zaraj Kronos is finding himself into the prone position with Bonga on the right hand side just charging in. Now Bonga is finding himself into all those slid reaction with 138, make a move into the circle. This is not going to be an easy task because the terrain eventually doesn't favor them, and as soon as they make a move into the zone, it will be Farhan and Shamir that will be first spotted down, and this is the chance where Kronos can hit them hard and can really hit them hard. Before doing so, it is going to be Malik that his complete crosshair set upon to the heads of Farhan.
Absolutely, he is spotting that small little dip in towards the ground itself, and when it comes to the dip, again, we are just looking at the play coming in from the side of Malik as well, because he knows where this team of 138 is. Exactly is the same conversation for ZARAR as well, but when it comes to 138, do they know that there is a team, and that is going to be Malik right here, there is FS that is also in the vicinity, and in that conversation, they're not going to be even allowed to think about that, because it is going to be Bonga who has been brought on down. Shamar right here bringing in that onslaught to the players of ZARAR, thus resulting in a 1v1v1 situation. There is of course a need for a revival, but that revival might not be happening because Kronos has taken on the players, and in that he has given away the information that is not going to be the kind of play that was eventually wanted from Kronos. But will Shamar be retaliating to that push? Will Shamar be giving away his position? We shall have to see. In the other front, it is going to be FS Malik that has been brought on down, so Shamar takes at least that point for himself, but now if he gets up, it is going to be him giving away, well, his position, and it is a 1v1 situation between Team 138. Shamar against Kronos right here, and Kronos knows no end, and this is where Shamar gets the perfect control, and of course the information had already been retained. He moved on along, got the kill for himself. Of course ZARAR played it to perfection, but it is going to be Team 138 who get themselves the final chicken dinner on, of course, Erangel with 12 kills, 1989 damage and 27 points. An amazing start being showcased from the side of 138, wherein they find themselves on the third place of the leaderboard. A perfect spotting coming in from this side. They were very quiet, they were very resilient. Even though ZARAR again and again kept on pincering them down, they still stood up and fought again and again, and eventually of course they got the chicken dinner. So a perfect spray being control from the side of both these teams. But FS Malik, well, that dude certainly got a lot of points for his team.
12 placement points. I mean, the team that really didn't get any sort of kill in this match, but certainly those 10 and 12 placement points, let's just talk about that. Eventually these were teams that got the hashtag 3 in this match, so 10 is the one that will be getting into the favor. But Shamir from the sides of Team 138, 8 kills, 1010 damage, 0 assist, 165 healing done. And the interesting part is, brother, that eventually in the very first game of Erangel, this was a team that were the hashtag 1, hashtag 2. I'm talking about ZARAR and 138, and then even they found themselves in the very last game contesting themselves. It was ZARAR that time, it was, and it is 138 this time. So now equally balanced, the equation is equally balanced.
Absolutely, and from that we move on to the top players list coming in, and this is where of course 138 Shamar chimes in with 8 kills, that he was the part of MVP. But moving away from there, we do have the second spot being taken on by ZARAR's players. Bongo right here with 4 kills, 9301 damage in the 27 minutes of survival time, along with UAG's Thor in 4 kills with 9045 damage. So on top of that potato hill, this team of UAG-TUF were bringing in a lot of damaging plays.
Exactly, that was certainly the case. We just got to see a lot of players are actually finding themselves and featuring themselves in the match summary. It is going to be Farhan finding himself in the maximum assist from the side of Team 38 and UAG Edgar. I mean, this is also was a time where the team of UAG was facing a brunt against those southern side of Georgia Pool areas, and this was the time where he was using all the utilities to his perfection, be it the grenade, be it the smoke. But certainly Shamir, the man of the moment, talk about his skill department, talk about his highest damage. This is one good game that the team was actually looking up to, and at the third spot they are finding themselves into the overall standing. But before that, we have the match ranking, as we get to see 12 kill chicken is what Team 138 gets for themselves, and a total of 27 total points. And ZARAR Esports not far much away from them, they also got a decent amount of total points, and that was 20. And then it was UAG Tough. I mean, this is a team that really played it consistently well. It was not a chicken throughout this day in the very 4th game, but this was certainly a team that really gave a very tough fight to each and every team in this lobby.
They most certainly did, and they held their ground pretty strong, and that, in doing so, certainly walking away with kills, as well as of course a little bit of that placement point as well. And as we move on along to the next page of this match's ranking, it is going to be Team Frost right there with only that 1 kill that they were a part of. And as we move on along, UNB also not looking too good with 1 placement point. Same can be said for Team 2 Easy.
Exactly. I mean, just one point share between them and Team Frost and UNB. And at the end of the day, it was also 4 placement point that was taken away by EV Esports. Crown holders was also the one that just got 2.
Absolutely. With that, it is time to recap the entirety of the domination showcase from these teams through the Oppo F19 Pro moments. And in that, it was Too Easy who were being pushed on against, and that is what. That is when they lost those players, their teammates as well on the other front. It was, of course, Solo Esports that was just completely dominating the play from the side of Frost, and in doing so, Frost sadly were able to get just that 1 kill from the side of Solo Esports, and it was Khan. But eventually, Solo got the better half of the fight because Frost was eliminated right there and then. And this is when, of course, Team Too Easy was executed from execute.
And this is also one time when Luffy used those utilities to perfection and pinned down the players of UNB, and thus resulting them to an elimination. There was some sort of rotation that was being caught off guard, and Max D was the one that really made it look happen. And then it was an easy affair for Luffy as he tried to pepper down the bullets in the smoke, thus connecting each and every shot onto the heads of the players and them getting down, and that resulted him getting above that fight. But then again, it was Crown Holder that got eliminated, and Tyrant was the one that got the better half of the grenade, and that was landed straight onto his lap. But then it was a 2-2 split, 1-1 split that we got to see in the final moment from the sides of Freestyle. It was one side, it was Black, and then it was other side, it was obviously Malik. And then it was an easy affair for ZARAR for them coming into the zone. It was looking pretty much done, but Team 138 Farhan, what a game for himself itself.
Absolutely, what a play that was. And this is when things get absolutely ludicrous, because this is when we are left with just 4 teams remaining and bring it down to 3, because it was Team 138 that were reigning in supreme, along with, of course, ZARAR's Pongo right there, who was just bringing in and pinching down the placement of Team 138. But as the game progressed on along, it has been a perfect spray of events, because so many teams walking away with so many kills, and this is the moment where we finally find out the teams that are going to be moving on into the finals, the top 14 teams. We of course do have UAG on the first place, no question about it, with the 3 kills, rather 3 chicken dinners that they were able to accumulate. 186 points from the side of TUF, of course. And as we move on through the list, it is going to be Team 138 jumping up another step and getting themselves on the 3rd spot with, of course, this chicken dinner that favored display and amazing stats.
Indeed, it is going to be the 14th spot is certainly going to be getting by Golden Stars and F2D on the 13th team. Sky on 12, Solo Esports really making a move with ZARAR getting qualified. 1-1-1 is where they stand at 10th position, but certainly Team Star did falter out, and Freestyle certainly not the way really expected, because in day before yesterday's gameplay, Freestyle was just looking phenomenally good, because I mean, you remember that Black survival strategy in the game of Erangel itself, where towards the area of 70 the circle did falter down, and this time itself the team was really thriving upon the survivability skills. But certainly teams like Quraysh Esports, EV Esports could have done better, because they really missed out of the mark of the top 14.
Absolutely, and from that we have, of course, these teams that are not going to be moving on into the finals, the regional finals, but they did bring in a good fight. There is nothing separating them. The way that the teams were able to synergistically bring their efforts together has been absolutely ludicrous, because it has been a wonderful time casting these games as well throughout the entire saga. But now we are going to have to say bye-bye to these teams, because only 14 teams move on 4th, and that is where things are going to move away from them. But now as we move on towards the kill leaders, it is Edgar from the side of UAGTUF with 35 kills to this dude with 7,670 damage that he was able to dish out, followed in with, of course, Team 138 Shamar with 31 kills but 5,370 damage. So a big difference right there between these two, first and second itself.
Indeed it is. I mean, kill difference is where also Edgar is leading the charge, and damage is also where he is actually overpowering Shamir, if I have just to say about that. But Bablu somewhere down the line, I mean, Quraysh Esports, this player was also one good player to talk about, but then it was a kill drop that we got to see. Shaptar from the side of the Grounders that really finished their games in yesterday's gameplay. But Shamir, today's gameplay has been just smackingly well. I mean, talk about close range fight, talk about those 1v2, 1v3. He was just bamboozling the team, and the average survival time is also, it seems, lesser than Edgar, because Edgar is really getting the better half of it. But what a game and what a tournament. I mean, the semi-finals has been really good for all these teams.
Most certainly has been, and of course it has been a wonderful time looking at these teams, bringing in the best play that they've been showcasing. But now, as we move on along into the finals, we will be meeting the 16 teams in the next weekend, starting off from Thursday, of course, where the massive prize pool certainly is going to be on the line, along with which that first team that will be at the end of the overall rankings, the team that finds themselves on the first spot is the one that will be moving on along into the PMPL Season 4. They will get a confirmed slot for them, and that is of course going to be a huge opportunity for so many of these teams. But what an amazing day it has been. With that, a huge thanks to you guys for chiming in along with, of course, thanks to Oppo F19 Pro, hashtag Wook Up Your Fun. I've been Blotter, along with me has been Ankit, helping you out throughout these games, and alongside that we also had the help of course Trooper as well as Phoenix. But we are done for this week. We'll be coming back again next Thursday onwards. Until then, take care, bye bye.
Here we go now. 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 Here we go now.